want more. Crying babies looking for food, starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day and every clue. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep, leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather, I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double, but nature gets the shit in the way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. All right, yes, y'all. It is 0821, February 23rd. It's a Monday, and that makes it. What time does that make it? 2:21 Eastern Standard Time, middle of the night, East Coast, America, and that will make it about what 10, something like that. 10:21, 9:21 between there, Pacific Time, depending on where you are in the Americas. Big up everybody. Yeah, well, we at it again. There's not one day where shit doesn't get more. I can't even call it interesting, because right about now people expect, the bar is already so low with this presidency, and Trump. People are waiting to expect even more, news that is even worse. I mean, people have just gotten used to the fact that it's all going to be bad. It's all going to be bad. So in a way, the news is not even shocking anymore. What people see and what folks have to witness, it's not even shocking. It's not even shocking. But I think for me, the disappointing part is 1121 Washington State. There you go. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think the thing that makes it really, who was that? Oh, that was Dang. Yeah. Big up, Dang. Yeah, the thing that makes it really, I think, upsetting for me, and I don't mean upsetting like in a way like I can't go to work or I can't do my daily duties. I mean, again, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I have this situation where, although I'm an American citizen, I live outside of the U.S. So I don't suffer under the Trump administration. I don't suffer. I don't, my life is just regular as it's always been before Trump. And, and before that too, before Biden was the president, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean, I go back to Obama outside of the U.S. I've been outside the U.S. for a minute, so I remember when Obama was running, and wow, that was interesting. That was a pretty interesting event there, But today is the Trump dynamic, and from what I've been hearing from a lot of my good old American family and friends, is that shit is fucked up. And not just that I've been hearing the bad news from American citizens in the United States of America, but I've also been reading the shit and watching it. I've been reading it in the newspaper here. You know what I'm saying? And we've been watching the videos of it. I mean, more Americans saying how fucked up it is. And so I just expect it to just be, look, I just expect more, even worse things. I mean, what could be worse? Who knows? What could be worse? What could be worse? I think that's, for some people, I guess that would be scary. I guess it would be scary. You have every right to be scared. But at this point, everything has gone on that has been bad. No one in this administration seems to care if people are scared. The stock market, the economy, you're on a roller coaster ride. Yeehaw, everybody. Yay. Roller coaster ride with your life. I mean, it is, in my mind, you have every right to be scared about what could be next. But, things are so bad and things happen every day that are so screwed up. You think it would cause the Congress and the Supreme Court to put their foot down on this president? But nah, not yet. I mean, I think what's got to happen first is, how can I say this? What could happen that would make this Congress and this Supreme Court put their foot down, and hold Trump or anyone in this regime, hold them accountable, right? What could that be? To be honest, I don't think there could be anything. I think this regime has carte blanche to run the country into the ground. I think if they killed, 300, a million, 2 million, 4 million, 5 million, maybe 10 million Americans, this Congress would not put their foot down. I mean, think of COVID. Think about how Trump was like fumbling his fingers with COVID. Like he was playing with COVID with like it's some Lego blocks or some shit. Like he have all day to figure this shit out, how to make it work. And, maybe it's this, maybe it's the light under the sun. Maybe you could drink Clorox. That's what some of my friends say. I mean, this is how Trump handled the death, an impending pandemic. He handled it like a kid with Play-Doh blocks and shit. You know what I'm saying? With nothing to do all day. Like he had all the time in the world to figure that out. So what could be worse? I really don't know. I hope nothing. I hope no pandemic hits the U.S. I hope no, outbreak of any type of, that's been a scare too, the outbreak, the threat of an outbreak. I mean, I really hope that doesn't happen under this regime. People can't survive it. You know what I'm saying? And, but along the way, every once in a while, we get interesting stories like this.
We are back with the Fox News alert. We can now report, per U.S. Secret Service, that an armed man in his 20s was shot and killed by U.S. Secret Service agents in the local sheriff's department at Mar-a-Lago after unlawfully entering the secure perimeter.
Any minute now, we're expecting a press briefing out of Mar-a-Lago from the FBI, Secret Service, and local officials. So what we understand at the moment is that overnight, around 1:30 in the morning, a 20-year-old man armed with a shotgun tried to scale
And this is the sad part I feel about it. Like, I feel like the U.S. has failed young men, to be honest with you. I don't think a lot of focus gets put on young men. But if you think about it, every young man that has tried to shoot Trump, every person that's tried to shoot Trump or shoot somebody is pretty, there was one old dude, right, in his 50s. He was a Trump supporter. And then at one time he was not that it matters, but most of these people, let's see, the guy that shot Charlie Kirk in his 20s, the guy that initially took a shot at Trump, right, in Pennsylvania, he was 19, 20 years old. And this guy, 20. I mean, it just seems to me to be a blatant sign of like think about this. Trump is an old fart. Trump has been able to he's lost a civil case regarding sexual assault, right? So he's a person that does that. He's had a life full of all kinds of accusations. I mean, he's got people saying that he raped them when they were kids and shit. I mean, Trump has a disgraced housing business or whatever, where apparently he just goes bankrupted casinos. American taxpayers pay for that, by the way. Some people think bankrupt is like a great thing. No, it's not good when you're supposed to be helping taxpayers, you know what I'm saying? But in any case, it's a benefit we give billionaires, is this bankruptcy thing in the United States of America. But having said that, it's these young people. I mean, I got a message for young people. Listen, I'm going to say it again. I've said this before. Don't waste your life on a shithead like Trump. Your life is more valuable than a failing individual like Trump. You have your future ahead of you. Trump doesn't. Let the old people deal with Trump. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of people that have lived life and have had a chance at life, and they should be taking a stab at this motherfucker. Don't waste your life, young people. That's what I'm saying. Like, really, it's the old people's fault that a person like Trump could be in office, not yours. Like, just straight up. You weren't given a chance in the United States of America. That's how it works, And, I just have to say that. That's my feelings about it. I just really find it strange that these young people, that they're actually going out there doing this. Now, I understand their sentiment, because I think Trump is a piece of shit. I think he's going to destroy the United States of America. And I think he's going to do that for his own selfish interests. But still, there's way more people that have lived a life, had a chance to live life, that should take responsibility for Trump. And that is all the other people that are older than 20. You see what I mean? All the other people that are older than 20. You know what I mean? Trump is a part of you. Like, seriously, Trump is a part of who you are as a society. You know what I mean? And these young people, they haven't even been given a chance to live long enough. So they don't deserve the responsibility or the blame for Trump. So young people, lay off. Let the people who really should sacrifice something, that have lived long enough, and to let them sacrifice something for this country. There's no reason why you need to sacrifice your life for a piece of shit like Trump. The fault of Trump lies on the Congress, on the Senate, on the Supreme Court. So don't waste your life on the military too. So young people, don't waste your life on a job that these authorities should have already solved for you. They're corrupt. They're full of shit. The best you could do is live another day, because they would never sacrifice their life for you. None of these people will sacrifice their life for you, young people. I'm just letting you know that. So let's continue.
The North Gate of Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, free Palestine. I hear you. Yeah.
And was shot and killed.
That's right. And, the Secret Service spokesman, Anthony Guglielmi, is tweeted this out just moments ago. The
Palestinians ain't do this to us. So the Palestinians, they weren't in there spying, doing honeypot schemes with Trump. They weren't in there raping little kids with Trump, right? You see what I mean? They wasn't hanging out with Epstein, right? You see what I'm saying?
The details, as you mentioned, Charlie. He says that around 1:30 a.m., in his 20s, was shot by Secret Service and Palm Beach County deputy from the sheriff's office following an unauthorized entry at the secure perimeter at Mar-a-Lago. This was near the North Gate, and they add to it that this individual, whose identity is being withheld pending notification of next of kin, was pronounced deceased. The individual was observed by that North Gate at Mar-a-Lago property carrying what appeared to be a shotgun in a fuel can. As you look on your map here at Mar-a-Lago, at the top of your screen is north, at the bottom of your screen is south.
So this would, of course, be the third attempt that we know of on the life of President Trump. Last night, he was not at Mar-a-Lago. He was at the governor's ball, the governor's formal ball at the White House. But this is incredible news. We're going to have a press conference at 9:40 12:30 a.m. We'll obviously be taking that live.
And so the North Gate, we think, would be the one that's right behind on your screen, right behind the little inset box showing the state of Florida. Would be right there, and that is the the main gate where.
All right, so they don't have much. I thought I was going to hear some of the best of the right wing. I wanted to hear them say it was an Arab, it was a Muslim, it was an immigrant, it was a tranny, it was black, it was I was waiting for a Mexican. I was waiting to hear them because after all, where's ICE when you need them? ICE was nowhere near this scene. You know what I'm saying? Again, you know. And, ICE was nowhere near this scene, and this is normal. Look, and ironically enough, another scene that ICE wasn't near, I saw there was a guy in one of these southern states. This was this was last year, just about a year ago. And a guy in one of these southern states, he had a problem with a local politician. And he went to it was a American guy, white American guy, right? And the politician was a white American guy. Both of them not that old, by the way. I think most of them 50 or younger, right? One of the guys, he took to the politician's regular job. The local politicians don't get paid a lot, so they have regular jobs too. So he went to his regular job because he had a beef with him. He took a gasoline barrel with him, and he poured the gas all over the guy and lit him on fire up inside of his job. I mean, this is the closest thing I've seen again with that. And again, ICE was nowhere near either one of those things.
We're waiting for a press conference by the Secret Service and the FBI to talk about the armed suspect killed in Mar-a-Lago. Joining us now, Bobby McDonald, retired supervisory special agent of the United States Secret Service. He's here to talk more about that fatal shooting of the armed suspect near Mar-a-Lago earlier today. Thank you very much for being here. What are you hoping to hear from the Secret Service and the FBI when they talk to us, talk to the nation about what happened near the president's home in Florida?
Well, good morning. Nice to be with you. Look, it's going to be very early on in the investigation overnight when this incident happens. We're going to probably hear that the officers involved or the agents involved have been put on administrative leave, as is the regular practice anytime there is a shooting incident. I think we're going to need to hear a few of the nuggets of information as to why this incident happened, how the person was apprehended and then subsequently shot, unfortunately. We're going to have to hear some things here to make sure that all of the protocols were followed, the escalation of violence with respect to taking out an intruder like that. We have to go through certain protocols. We're going to want to hear what type of weapon or instruments and tools that the intruder had. There's a lot going to be going on here. And again, we are very on the investigation. So,
somebody in the chat said, Frederick said, majority of Americans voted for Trump. And you saying they are wrong? Well, I'm saying today, you talking about over a year ago. Today, the majority of Americans fucking hate Trump. Let's just get it straight. And we don't live in the fucking past. OK, we live in the goddamn present every day of the week. And today, the majority of Americans clearly fucking hate Trump. Like, so deal with that. Deal with that.
Rules before we get going. I'm going to give you all the information that I can give you and I'm allowed to give you. The other two gentlemen with me will give you a brief statement also. After that, we'll ask for a couple questions. We're not going to take a lot, but I want to warn you right now. Make them relevant to exactly what I'm talking about. All right? No what base, because we're not going to answer that. We're going to give you what we know.
Again, young people in your 20s, don't waste your life. Don't give up your life, your beautiful life for Trump. Trump is going to be dead soon. You should not give up your life for what people 30 years and 40 years and 50 years old would never do for you. Like, there's loads of people, 20 people in their 20s haven't even been given a chance to live their life yet. You know what I mean? It's not their fault that this country breeds people like Epstein and Trump. It's not their fault. It's not you 20-year-olds' fault. This is something that has been in the making, that is basically the fault of the 30-year-olds, the 40-year-olds, the 50-year-olds, the 60-year-olds, and the 70-year-olds. It's their fault. So young people, the United States of America hasn't done shit for you, white or black or whatever your background. It's a fucked up country. basically that doesn't look after its young people. It doesn't put its young people first, right? It thinks about how much money you have first. And if you don't have money enough to buy everything, then to hell with you. That's really how they think. So don't waste your life. Young people that are 20, don't try to kill Trump. Don't try to murder Trump, because all these old ass people would never do anything for you. Like straight up. They would not do that for you. They would not risk their life for your young ass, 20 years old, just trying to get into college, just getting your first job. Let the older people handle this, because those are the ones that have paved the way for dirty, stinking bastards like Trump. It's not your fault, young people. It's the old people's fault. So young people, again, politically, don't waste your life doing these kinds of things. Your life is more valuable than this piece of shit Trump's. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
And what we can. All right. So keep that in mind. So you good to go? All right. It was Kerrigan. He was ordered to drop those two pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the two Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene. I'll give you a picture of the shotgun and the gas can to have with you. So that's what we know now. The investigation continues. The FBI is the lead investigation agency on this case, and we will be assisting them in whatever manner they would like. And they will be responsible for answering any other questions at an appropriate time. Agent Skiles, thank you, sir.
Good morning. Again, my name is Brett Skiles.
I'm gonna tell you straight up, young people, don't waste your life on a piece of shit like Trump. You have a whole life ahead of you. You have a whole life ahead of you. Let the people that's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 that have paved the way for a person like Trump and Epstein, let them take care of their responsibilities. You have your whole life ahead of you. The United States government and the taxpayers have not invested in their young people. So please, young people, don't waste your life, because these people would never give their life for you. They would never give their life for you. Like straight up, I'm telling you. Look at the rest of Congress. They're just happy sitting back. And look at the people in the chat. They just kicking back. Yeah, we love this. We love Trump, man. Yeah, fuck the young people. We love Trump. Let the young people get killed. Yay!
Special agent in charge for the FBI's Miami field office. First of all, I'd like to thank the Secret Service.
There's obviously an epidemic in the U.S. The guy who shot Charlie Kirk, young person, in the 20s, just starting college. The person who shot Trump the first time, or tried to, 19, 20-year-old, just starting his life. It's sad. Young people, don't waste your life on this. This is 30, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old people. It's their responsibility that the United States has a president like Trump. They know better. They're supposed to think better of their country and the young people, and they don't. So don't waste your life, because they would never risk their life for you, like straight up.
And Palm Beach Sheriff's Office for their quick response in this matter and close collaboration. Since this area of the shooting was under Secret Service protection at the time, the FBI is assisting the investigation. Currently, our evidence response team is processing the scene, collecting evidence, and we'll continue to work the scene for as long as it takes. One thing I would ask the public is, if you live in the area of the shooting, please check your exterior cameras for last night, early this morning. If you see anything that looks suspicious or out of place, please contact us at 1-800-CALL-FBI or contact the West Palm Beach Sheriff's Office.
More investigation to be done. FBI is the lead agency. We'll be assisting them. And fortunately, nobody was in jeopardy inside because of the quick action that was taken by the deputies and the Secret Service. All right. Do we have any relative questions? All right.
Hold up that photo again?
Oh, you know what? Actually, there is something worth playing right here. I see, because people need to know, how popular is Trump right now? That's a good question to ask. How popular is Trump right now? Is Trump, how do American people feel about Trump currently? Is he the most popular president ever? according to statistics? I mean, or is he least popular president ever, according to statistics? Let's see here. I know there was some statistics done before. Let's see. Where are the statistics at? Oh my God. Trump doesn't seem to. Yeah, where are the statistics? Hold on. Let me see something here. I know I have it. In the last couple of days, they took some statistics on Trump. Let's see here. Is it this one? Right here? Let me see here. Oh, you know what? Let me just go like this. Yeah, let's see this. Just to get a view of like what could be behind what could be behind the shooting? What could be behind the shooting? Statistics, right? Yeah, what could be behind the shooting? I'm curious. I want to hear what the guy says, but here, let's hold on. No. This ain't the right one. I'm sorry. This is some time ago. Oh, is this? No, this is right. No, this is midterm polling. Okay, we don't want that. We want what was just around the corner. Let's see here. Delay. One. Oh, right. Here it is. Damn. I don't even think this is 1 month ago. Let's see here. What does this say about the data? And this is even worse now.
Create a rift among his supporters, whether it goes against his.
Let's see here.
Well, why don't we just talk the GOP on the U.S. military ousting Maduro? Ipsos, 65% support, 6% opposed. How about the Washington Post poll? 74% support, just 10% opposed. If you look among 2024 Trump supporters, we're talking about 80% support. The vast, vast majority of Republicans are with Donald Trump on this issue. Massey and Marjorie.
Yep. Invading you in other countries, Republicans are into that. Although when he ran, he said that he wasn't into foreign wars. But you see, all his support base has completely gone the opposite direction as soon as he was elected. It's just like the Epstein files. But here.
And it is the same iron grip that he had 6 months ago. I know every so often people are trying to say, oh, I spot these little rifts in the Republican base.
Right. So that was a month ago, right? But now the data actually says something else on Trump's statistics. It's crazy, but let me see here. Here we go.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
And then we can get back to it. Let's just see.
As a peg, really, for what's going on with the Epstein files, which is extreme interest. This is not going away here.
No, it is not going away. If
So,
the Trump
so
administration
this is Trump's current now. You saw a month ago it wasn't that bad. Now this is the current. And I'm just saying, does this have something to do with the shootings? Who knows?
Donald Trump in particular
up to
believe
you.
that they can wish this story away. The American public have a different tune to sing. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at Google searches for Epstein. In fact, in the month of February, it is higher than it's ever been. Up like a rocket, up 900% versus a month ago. And the top name associated with Googling for Epstein, well, it is Donald Trump. So the story isn't not going away. It's actually getting searched more and more and more.
Did the shooter actually say something about Epstein? Is that possible? He said something about Epstein on his social media. Let me see.
More relevant in the minds of the American public.
It's so interesting. This is, more than it was when Congress voted to force the release them, more than it was when they actually released some of them, more than it was when they released more of them. Now it's the most it's ever been.
The most it is.
Yeah, Trump is bringing an aid. He's bringing an aid ship to Greenland and shit, but not to the USA. Nope. But this is these MAGA supporters. They love that kind of stuff.
Has ever been, and the previous highs were also very high.
All right, let's talk about what this means for President Trump. How do people view his handling of the whole issue?
Yeah, this is bad political news for President Trump. Yesterday.
Okay, they said it's bad political news according to statistics. We saw what people were thinking a month ago, right? Okay, now.
We spoke about the fact that Donald Trump's overall approval rating, his net approval rating, was at a record low for term number 2. What is the worst issue for Donald Trump?
A record low?
of any of the major issues. Look at this. We got them all up on the screen. Immigration, foreign policy, the economy, trade and tariffs, and then all the way down at the bottom is the Epstein case. Look, he's underwater on immigration, foreign policy, the economy, and tariffs, all between minus 16 and minus 25 points. The Epstein case, though, is on another planet. Look at this. Negative 39 points. He's 39 points underwater. Basically a split between 30% approve and 70% disapprove. The Epstein case is not the story the Trump administration and Trump in particular and Republicans at large want in the news, because it is a big political loser for him, and these numbers have remained very consistent no matter what.
So you see here, it says, let's go back. It says trade and tariffs, right? How does Trump doing on trade and tariffs? He's doing minus 25%. That's not 25%. That's minus. Okay. On the economy, minus 20. Foreign policy, minus 20. And he's sending aid ships to Greenland. Okay. Immigration, minus 16. I mean, minus 39 on the Epstein case. So if we go back, right, and we examine the current issue, which is, why did this young man try to shoot Donald Trump? What made him take his ass to Donald Trump's house? I don't know, but I'm hearing it has something to do with something in that data we just reviewed. There was something there that that drove his young ass down there. And again, young people, don't do that. Don't waste your life on an old shithead like Trump. Trump is an old fart, stinky man. He, has already lived his life, a life full of doing whatever he wants with no accountability. I mean, he's a adjudicated a rapist, essentially. The man is a 34-time felon. He's accused by multiple people of assault, sexual assault and battery when they were children, basically pedophilia. He's accused of that. He's also accused of killing some young people. Right. I mean, literally straight up like mob boss type style. Trump basically don't give a fuck about anything or anybody. And what I'm saying is, young people, you 22, there's too many of these 22ers out there. The guy who tried to take a shot at Trump the first time, he barely got a chance to live life. Don't waste yourself. Don't waste your life, young people. The guy who shot Charlie Kirk, I said it before, young people, don't waste your life on an asshole like Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, you have a life full of you. You know what I'm saying? Young people, don't go out like this young guy. Listen, the responsibility of Trump is the 30-year-olds, the 40-year-olds, the 50, the 60, and the 70s, because all of these people have led the way to a president like Donald Trump. You have really nothing to do with it. You just started voting and shit. A lot of y'all just, this is your first election and shit. So it's obviously not your fault that Trump is in office. So don't waste your life. And also think about it like this. A lot of these old pieces of shit that just let, like in Congress, in the Senate, in the Supreme Court, that let a person like Trump do these things knowing how foul he is, they would never give their life for you. So don't ever give your life. You're too young to give your life for this country. I'm just saying straight up. I'm just going to say it like that. It should be the older people that are giving their life for the country. The young people just started, man, yo, like just relax. It's not your fault. Just relax. It's not your fault. You shouldn't have to waste your life. The country doesn't give a fuck about its young people. Straight up. So, yeah, too many young people losing their life trying to kill Trump when it should be some older people trying to do it. Like, that's how I look at it, But in any case, let's go on.
We are back with the Fox News alert. We can now
report
a press conference by the Secret Service and the FBI to talk about the armed suspect killed in Mar-a-Lago.
So could the data be why he did it? Did the data? Is it something he doesn't like about Trump? Is that what motivated him?
Joining us now, Bobby McDonald, retired supervisory special agent of the United States Secret Service. He's here to talk more about that fatal shooting of the armed suspect near Mar-a-Lago earlier today. Thank you very much for being here. What are you hoping to hear from the Secret Service and the FBI when they talk to us, talk to the nation about what happened near the president's home in Florida?
Well, good morning. Nice to be with you. Look, it's going to be very early on in the investigation overnight when this incident happens. We're going to probably hear that the officers involved or the agents involved have been put on administrative leave, as is the regular practice anytime there is a shooting incident. I think we're going to need to hear a few of the nuggets of information as to why this incident happened, how the person was apprehended and then subsequently shot, unfortunately. We're going to have to hear some things here to make sure that all of the protocols were followed, the escalation of violence with respect to taking out an intruder like that. We have to go through certain protocols. We're going to want to hear what type of weapon or instruments and tools that the intruder had. There's a lot going to be going on here. And again, we are very on in the investigation. So
a couple of ground rules before we get going. I'm going to give you all the information that I can give you and I'm allowed to give you. The other two gentlemen with me will give you a brief statement also. After that, we'll ask for a couple questions. We're not going to take a lot, but I want to warn you right now. Make them relevant to exactly what I'm talking about, all right? Know what it is, because we're not going to answer that. We're going to give you what we know and what we can, all right? So keep that in mind. So you good to go? All right. It was carry gun. He was ordered to drop those two pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the two Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene. I'll give you a picture of the shotgun and the gas can.
Yo, let me know your healthcare provider. What state you live in and your healthcare provider. Everybody in the chat, what state do you live in and who's your healthcare provider? I just want to know how things are going with healthcare in the U.S.
To have with you. So that's what we know now. The investigation continues. The FBI is the lead investigation agency on this case, and we will be assisting them in whatever manner they would like, and they will be responsible for answering any other questions at an appropriate time.
Somebody being honest and shit for Rafika's. Rafika's being honest and shit. I mean, I'm just saying, yo, the majority of the people don't look. Anyone out there thinking that they can lie about this, you can't escape the reality. You know what I mean? You may as well stand it with the majority of people and shit. You know what I'm saying? You may as well stand with the majority, because from what I hear, people is hurting for health care right now in the U.S.
Agent Skiles, thank you, sir.
Good morning. Again, my name is Brett Skiles. I'm the Special Agent in Charge for the FBI's Miami Field Office. First of all, I'd like to thank the Secret Service and Palm Beach Sheriff's Office for their quick response in this matter and close collaboration. Since this area...
Yeah, exactly. I live in Denmark. Our health care is covered by our taxes. Everybody has universal health care here, just like the education system. Everybody goes to school and gets a stipend. So, yeah, so that just leaves the rest of the people in the U.S. that like Trump. How's your health care doing? Let me know what state you live in, Trump supporters, and who's your health care provider. That way we know whether you can afford your health care or not. We need to know how hard is this health care kicking your ass right now, since you're so proud of Trump.
The shooting was under Secret Service protection at the
Be brave. Tell me your state and your healthcare provider.
time. The FBI is assisting the investigation. Currently, our evidence response team is processing the scene, collecting evidence, and we'll continue to work the scene.
See what I'm saying, young people? Don't waste your life trying to kill Trump, young people, because you have a lot of dumbass older fucking Americans that are too stupid to know when they're supporting insanity. You see what I mean? So do not try to waste your life taking out Trump to make their life better. It's their fucking responsibility. Like, straight up, these dumbass Trump supporters is a 20-year-old could only vote 2 years in the United States of America. Shit, what the hell? It couldn't possibly be their fault what's going on. Don't waste your life, young people, on Trump. Let the older people do it.
For as long as it takes.
It's their responsibility.
One thing I would ask the public is, if you live in the area of the shooting, please check your exterior cameras for last night, early this morning. If you see anything that looks suspicious or out of place, please contact us at 1-800-CALL-FBI or contact the West Palm Beach Sheriff's Office.
More investigation to be done. FBI is the lead agency. We'll be assisting them, And fortunately, nobody was in jeopardy inside because of the quick action that was taken by the deputies and the Secret Service. All right, do we have...
Plus, Trump wasn't even in the state. I mean, so you basically got a person who's, struggling a little bit. But
any relative...
But there was some connection now. He worked at, I believe, a golf club, right? Cutting grasses. So there is him and Trump have some spiritual connection, I guess.
Questions. All right.
One hates pedophiles. The other likes pedophiles. That's the only problem there.
That photo again?
Yeah, we're going to give it to you. All right? Okay, that's it for today.
The officer that shot and killed the suspect, what agency are they from?
Say that again, ma'am.
Officer that shot and killed the suspect.
Okay.
Was this person known to law enforcement prior to the incident?
Not right now.
Can you clarify where on the perimeter it happened? You mentioned
At
by
the
the
gate. Yeah.
At the front gate over there?
Yep. They're the north side.
North side. Were they inside of the gate or no?
He was just inside the inner perimeter, yes. All right.
Was anyone involved wearing body cameras?
Pardon me?
Was anyone wearing body cameras?
Yes, we always do.
Were any words exchanged between the officers or something?
Only words that we said to him was drop the items, which means the gas can and the shotgun.
But the suspect never spoke.
He put the gas can down and pointed the shotgun at the officers.
Was the shotgun loaded? The shotgun loaded?
I don't know.
Damn, that's a good question. Was the shotgun loaded? Pretty interesting. I mean, but listen, is it illegal? Is it illegal to point a shotgun at a police officer in America? Is it illegal? You tell me. I don't know. Is that necessarily illegal? If the police officer doesn't feel threatened, is it illegal? I mean, is there a rule that says I have to shoot somebody that's pointing a weapon at me? Is that a law? Is that just everyone knows that that's exactly what you have to do when you're a police officer? I don't know. Shit, because I've seen police officers go light on some people and hard on the others, like two total opposite. I saw one police officer tell the guy, please put your gun away. The guy was pointing the gun at him and shit. And he let him go. I mean, so, it's not like the law gets applied fairly to everybody. Sometimes how you look could make a difference. Sometimes you could have no gun and they could be like, I saw a gun. So I'm just curious. Is there a particular law? That's why I'm curious about it. I don't think there is. I don't think there's no. I think police are given all the discretion they need. If they like you and they don't feel threatened by you while you're holding a gun at them, then they can make that distinction based on how you look and say, yeah, but how he sounded kind of friendly. So I didn't take it serious. You know what I mean? And yeah, who knows?
Don't know that either yet. It's part of the investigation. Okay, folks, thanks for being here. That's it. Sure.
Thank you.
I'm on the side of the innocent, and Trump ain't innocent. So, has the young man committed a crime ever before in his life? Was it a first-time offense? Because it wouldn't be for Trump. You know what I'm saying? Trump wouldn't be a first-time offender on pretty much nothing.
I just heard a press conference.
I mean, he's the man who said I could go outside and shoot somebody, and his base wouldn't even care. That's exactly what Trump said. He could go out. I think he said Fifth Avenue. He could go out on I think it was Fifth, right? Who cares? But he said that. Trump literally said that, and his base applauded him and said, "Yeah, that's right." Matter of fact, let me pull that clip up.
From authorities in Florida talking about this suspect that they say at 1:30 can and a shotgun. The officers, sheriff, and Secret Service walked up to him, told him to drop the items. He lifted the shotgun, dropped the gas can, and they killed him with that. The FBI is leading the investigation. And at this point, the FBI is also asking people to check their cameras at their home and see if there's anything and call with tips. We have.
All right. So let me see here. It says he's 21-year-old, right? Was shot, killed by law enforcement for breaching a security parameter in Mar-a-Lago. Okay, here's the everything. Okay, so let me see. His name is Austin Tucker Martin, right? Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up his picture here. Do they have a picture here of him? Maybe I could pull it out. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a damn shame a young man loses his life. Yeah. young people, don't waste your life trying to solve old people's problems. Trump is here because older people, they decided they wanted the best friend of the most prolific pedophile sex trafficker. They decided they wanted that person's best friend to be the president of the United States. It doesn't make any sense. It's loony. It's sad you have to grow up in a world like this, but don't waste your life, because a lot of these people would never risk their life for you, like straight up. So don't do it. Just let the older people solve this problem. As frustrating as it might be and as insane as it is, let the older people solve this problem. It is clearly 100% their responsibility. If they don't have the good sense to not see danger when you elect the best friend of the most prolific pedophile, sex trafficker, espionage person on earth, when you don't have the good sense to separate totally from that, this is what you experience. This is what happens to your country, and it's not your fault, young people. You barely been given a chance to live your life. So the older people should know better, given all the experience they have in life, but apparently they don't. Let me see. Okay, they don't have a picture right there. Let me see. Well, in any case, I'll pull a picture up. Let's see. His name was Martin, right? He lives in Cameron, North Carolina. Martin worked at a local golf course in North Carolina. That's what I was saying. He has something in common with Trump. That's ironic, right? This is very ironic. According to his cousin, Breeden Fields, Martin was generally quiet, a good kid. That's what I was trying to say. He doesn't have any priors. He hasn't been accused of sexual assault against minors. He hasn't been accused of pedophilia. He hasn't been accused of murder. He hasn't been accused of rape. He hasn't been convicted of 34 felonies. Yeah. He hasn't asked the taxpayers to give him some money from going bankrupt so many times. None of that stuff. He was a good kid. Sounds like it to me. Does Trump sound like a good kid? No, not at all. I would gladly trade their lives. If you ask me, I wish Trump was the person who died and this young kid was the person who lived, so he'd have a chance to live a life that Trump didn't appreciate. Let me see here. According to his cousin, Martin was generally quiet, a good kid, and had a reputation for donating a portion of his paychecks to charity. He's a better man than Trump. At a young age, too. This is the exact opposite. Trump grew up as a rich asshole, coming out of his house every day with his daddy hopping in the limousine. And his daddy stop and look at the poor guy and throw a nickel out there, and they walk away. And Trump is like, my daddy's a good man. My daddy. Okay, hop in the limousine and drive off. All right. Family status. His family have reported him missing to the Moore County Sheriff's Department a few days prior to the incident. That sounds very suspicious. That sounds very, 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 very suspicious. Could there be other foul play at hand? We'll find out. But I didn't know that. But that is very suspicious. His family has expressed shock because, look, you don't need to disappear to get a motherfucking shotgun and a barrel of gasoline. That's not top secret shit. You can get that anywhere in North Carolina. What the fuck? Just walk in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell? You have to disappear for all of that. Okay. His family expressed shock, describing him as someone who was afraid of guns. Sounds very, very, starting to sound like somebody put him up to this. And noting that his family are avid supporters of President Trump. Another theme. This is another theme, y'all. This seems to be a reoccurring theme. Like, what the fuck? All these people that Trump supporting families birth kids, they get shot shooting people. Like, this is crazy, man. This is some weird shit here. This is, and even though they're Trump supporters, I feel for them, because no young person, don't risk your life. Don't try to fix the mistakes that the adults made. Not this way. The adults are fucked up in the head, and you getting shot and killed won't make the world a better place. Trump being shot and killed might do that actually, but he wouldn't give a fuck that you died. So you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see here. The incident breach occurred approximately 1:30 a.m. Okay, this was in the morning while President Trump was at the White House in Washington, D.C. What a damn shame. Entry: Martin reportedly drove through the north gate of the estate by following another vehicle as it was exiting the property. Okay, Martin reportedly drove through the north gate of the estate by following another vehicle as it was exiting the property. Okay, that's an interesting. That's interesting. A little piece of detail right there. Right? Weaponry: he was carrying a shotgun and a gas canister petrol can. Investigators believe he purchased the shotgun during his drive from the North Carolina to Florida. That's what I said. You can get this shit anywhere. But where did they reported him missing days earlier. That's what I'm saying. A box for the firearm was later found in his vehicle. Okay. The confrontation, 2 Secret Service agents in the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office deputy confronted Martin in the inner perimeter. According to the sheriff's Rick Bradshaw, Martin was ordered to drop his items. He set down the gas can, but then raised the shotgun into shooting position, prompting the officers to open fire. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Where's the videotape? I guess video would tell us all. And if they don't have any videotape, we will know this is very suspicious. It won't be the first time there's been some suspicious stuff around Trump. But in any case, current investigation, like the fact that he likely didn't even get shot and he carried on for months and months and shit, walking around with a goddamn tampon on his ear and shit, talking about, I've been shot. Okay. Current investigation. The FBI is leading the investigation. Wow. Yeah. Good luck with that. Motive: currently, I won't even bother with the FBI because Cash Patel's over there getting drunk right now in Milan and shit. And they talking about the FBI is going to lead this one. Okay. Thanks a lot for telling me. I have a lot of confidence in the FBI today. Currently unknown. No manifesto, clear political motive has been released by officials. Okay. I heard he didn't like Trump, but let's find out. Who knows? Psychological profile. Investigators are working to compile a psychological profile to understand what led to the incident. Well, yeah, okay. You could do that with the motive too. So, security context. The event follows 2 high-profile assassination attempts at Trump during the 2024 campaign, shooting in Butler, the incident at West Palm Beach golf course. Okay, that was an older guy. Yeah, I could understand him, but he did a poor job, I could tell you that much. But in any case, yeah. So there you have it. That's what they know so far. But let me check. I believe they said his motive was he was a little pissed off about Trump. But let's see. Let me find that.
Big trailer, a White House.
The new.
Yeah. Let me see what they say here. There's actually. I don't know if Dan Bongino actually commented on this, but let's hear a little bit of legacy media first.
Let's go to Bobby Mack, who we've been talking to. Bobby, when you hear about this person, this suspect being in the interior perimeter at Mar-a-Lago, what does that tell you about the security there?
Well, I think he was just inside the perimeter. Again, it's very difficult in any sense to secure outdoor venues like this or residences. There's just a lot of acreage. There's fences, there's cameras, etc. But it's sometimes very easy to get just inside. And obviously when those alarms went off, the officers and agents went to that area, were able to apprehend the individual. And then unfortunately, the shooting incident happened at that point after some verbal discussions with the individual to put those items down. So that's a big property. It takes a lot of manpower and assets and personnel to secure that. So I don't think he got as close to the residents as we might think when we hear that. So I'm hoping that it's just inside that gate where he was apprehended and then subsequently, unfortunately, shot.
And I think it's important for our viewers to know that the president is not at Mar-a-Lago this weekend. He's actually been at the White House, where our White House reporter Jake Traylor is right now. If we can bring Jake in. He's actually not in yet. Bobby, we're going to stick with you. But in the wake of the last 2 attempted assassinations of this president. There were a lot of security changes that were made. There was an entire report and a committee.
I don't know. I just think that sounds so weird that they said he disappeared. So I think, let me just go back on that. Let me see something. 2 seconds. I will let this play and then dig that up.
That was tasked with enhancing and ensuring that there was more advanced perimeter and golf course security, and also aerial surveillance and updated technologies, as lawmakers at the time put it, a paradigm shift in the way that the service ultimately views protecting their detailees, specifically this president, who is often on the move, has a lot of different residences, and is a harder to protect target than past presidents. Do you think that some of these changes that have been implemented since December and September 2024 have actually made a difference and potentially led to law enforcement being able to be successful last night in their attempts at neutralizing this suspect?
All right. So look, this guy went missing. His parents called him. They said, I think it's his parents. According to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, a relative of Austin Tucker Martin approached a deputy at a local business in North Carolina, reported him missing at 1:38 a.m. ET. What is that? What is that? Estimated time? What is that? ET, I forget. On Sunday, okay, just 8 minutes after the shooting occurred in Florida. 8 minutes after the shooting. Okay. Here's a breakdown of the timeline disappearance. Last contact with Austin was heard from 7:51 p.m. on Saturday. Okay, so he must have had to drive some hours. The drive investigators believe he left his home in Cameron, North Carolina. That afternoon, he drove approximately 700 miles south into his silver 2013 Volkswagen. Okay. The purchase during the drive, he reportedly stopped to buy a shotgun used in the incident. Police found it. That's interesting. Okay. Police found an empty box for the firearm. Yeah. Okay. The report, his family grew worried when he didn't return any answers or calls. By the time they officially filed the report at 1:30 a.m., Austin had already been neutralized by the Secret Service in Palm Beach. That's interesting. Okay. The family's social media post and statements to the police paint a picture of sudden, out-of-character departure. Not like him. His aunt, Chrissy Fields, posted on Facebook that he had left home at 1 p.m. on Saturday and that failing to check in was not like him. No red flags. The family noted he had no history of violence and was actually afraid of guns. Like, this is very, very weird, yo. This is really, really weird. And I'd be curious to know what his electronics look like, his electronic devices, if he's been communicating with anybody else. But in the hands of this FBI, I wouldn't trust it. Political irony. The family are vocal supporters of President Trump, making the location on his breakdown or mission particularly confusing for them. New emerging. Exactly. What is up with that? That is really weird. Like, is it that these kind of right-wing chat places, or right-wing groups, like if you're online, could it be that there's people in there that are there to like grab a hold of young people and convince them of some shit, because listen, a lot of people believe a lot of dumb shit. A lot of people can easily be fooled, and manipulated. Like, especially, it's not about how old or young you are, but some people are just very naive, you know what I mean? And can be maybe fall prey more for predators online, people that want to. I mean, I'm curious. To me, this sounds, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more to this. New emerging motive. While the FBI is still investigating recent reports from co-workers at the Pine Needles Lodge, a golf club suggests Austin had become obsessed with the recently released Jeffrey Epstein files. Right. This is something I heard, that the Epstein files, he was mad that the government hasn't done shit about the Epstein files. The text on February 15th, he reportedly texted a coworker, "I don't know if you read up on Epstein files, but the evil is real and unmistakable." But again, this should be the adults taking care of this problem. Young kids that have only been voters for 1 or 2 years, they pretty much are not responsible for the trajectory of Trump in national politics or Epstein. There's not, all of this stuff was well in play for the last 30 goddamn, 3, almost 4 decades, even before this man was even alive. That Epstein Trump shit was going on before this man was even alive. That's crazy. But it's a fact, frustration. He was reportedly vocal about powerful figures getting away with crimes and had become increasingly frustrated with the cost of living and his inability to move out of his parents' house. Damn, actually, I don't think this is any conspiracy. This sounds pretty realistic, right? Now that I read this sounds like now it's starting to make sense. You know what I'm saying? If they would have said something else, I wouldn't quite have maybe, I wouldn't believe it necessarily, because these are some really interesting times we living in and shit. You can't just believe things instantly. But that explanation sounds perfect. It makes a whole lot of sense right there. I mean, I don't know, but to me, it sounds plausible that could be the case. So anyway, let's see what Bombana or whatever his name is got to say.
Dan Bongino, former FBI director. Thank you for joining us on such short notice, Dan. So can you tell us what you know at this hour?
Well, obviously that's a secure, extremely secure area. I've been to the property, as many of you have, many times. Breaching the property, if what we have from the early reports is accurate, and we have no reason to believe otherwise, with a gas can and a shotgun, it appears the intent seems built in. That side of the property, the north side of the property over there.
This is Mr. We're going to get all the pedophiles on. We're going to get all the liberal pedophiles on day one. We're going to release the Epstein files.
They've made a number of significant security enhancements. I know the director now, who had been the SAC special agent in charge, Director Curran now was a special agent in charge of former President Trump's detail between 45 and 47, obviously, is very familiar with the property. They made, again, a number of very significant technology enhancements. They put
rest in peace to this young man, for real. Rest in peace to this young man. He feels like a whole lot of other people, and there's a lot of Trump supporters that feel the same way. I mean, where are those people in the chat earlier? They were like, Trump, man, Trump's the best president ever. It's like, damn, there's loads of Trump people that don't feel that way, and it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Securing the location, but ultimately, in the end, there was an interdiction here by a human being, and they're going to be the ones who are obviously.
I think, I'm wondering about Stephen Miller. Like, what's up with Stephen Miller? What does he got to say? Who Kash Patel, any of them? Who's behind this? Was it a liberal Democrat behind the shooting? Who's behind it? Was it was it a Antifa? Where are they at? Are they involved? Was it an Antifa conspiracy?
You see the decision makers, and it appears from the early reporting, and we'll see what comes out, that they in order to enact any kind of deadly force, which happened in this case, you have to have a fear of serious physical injury or death. It appears the agent or officer who was involved thought that to be the case. The early reporting of a weapon seems to indicate the obvious reason why. And then from this point on, the FBI and the Secret Service, me having been on both sides of the fence, the FBI has an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the Secret Service, where the FBI will take over the crime scene in a scenario like
jazzy
this,
music. What's up?
Obvious reasons if there were, and I'm not suggesting at all this is the case, but if there were some kind of security lapse that required an investigation later, you wouldn't want the Secret Service investigating themselves, and vice versa. If it happened with the FBI, you wouldn't want them investigating themselves either. So we'll generally take over the crime scene. There's usually a smooth transition. The Secret Service will designate some crime scene agents in advance at every site. They have a little asterisk next to their name. They know what to do. They'll hold that. and then there'll be an investigation. And from this point, we'll all be sitting and watching as all the facts emerge.
Then they'll all know what we all know, because apparently his family knows everything. And this is what gets me, like, when people's own family and friends tell you shit about the person, and then folks don't want to believe it. Like, you hear this thing where Epstein's brother said, yo, Epstein's dead. He felt like they were going to kill him. He thought they were going to kill him. He's the one who examined the body, and there's people out here that think Epstein is somewhere else. He's alive and living in Israel. You know, I don't know. It's the same thing with Maxwell. I mean, doesn't she have family? Isn't she communicating with people every day? I mean, but yet people think that she's free. You know, when sometimes the obvious is right in your face, in plain sight. These people said what they thought it was. Look, they said that the guy was afraid of guns. They said that the guy's family are Trump supporters. And they said that a few days before this, he started talking about the Epstein files and how evil the things are that's being done in there. I'm curious what allegation he was talking about, but these are what the people say around him, right? So it's going to be curious to see all the conspiracy theories that come about from this point about what people think it is and what it's about. But I'm pretty sure MAGA, the core Trump supporters, I'm not talking about MAGA because, like, apparently this guy was a Trump supporter, but I'm not talking about the people that left Trump. I'm talking about the tail hangers, the people that are still holding on to his nuts and trying to make it seem normal. I'm interested to see what conspiracy theories they will have that will wash away what everyone around the guy say. It's the same thing with Charlie Kirk. The shooter's family was Trump supporters. He grew up in a town of Trump supporting, gun shooters, and they tried to turn it into something else. I mean, because he was obviously, they say he was dating a transsexual, but look, who said Trump supporters don't do that? Who said they don't? I never said they don't. There's gay and other types of Trump supporters than what you might think. And a lot of them, some of them have power. Some of them are in Congress. Some of them are in the Senate. You know what I'm saying? They may not put it out there in public so often, but it's pretty much known. You see what I mean? There's gay people that support Trump. So, I think that kind of conservative realm is not conservative really about sexuality. It's more conservative about other issues like racial issues, quote unquote pseudo nationalistic issues. You know what I'm saying? Because, obviously they in a country of immigrants, or how do you define who's an American? You know what I mean? So, but in any case, let's go on.
Yeah. So Secret Service issuing a statement saying on February 22nd around 1:30 a.m., male in his 20s shot by U.S. Secret Service agents and a deputy from Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office following an unauthorized entry into the secure perimeter at Mar-a-Lago. The individual whose identity is being withheld pending a notification was pronounced deceased. The individual was observed by the north gate of the Mar-a-Lago property carrying what appeared to be shotgun and fuel can. U.S. Secret Service agents and Palm Beach police deputy confronted the individual, and shots were fired by law enforcement during the encounter. No Secret Service agent or local sheriff deputy personnel were injured. There was no Secret Service protectees present at the location at the time of the incident. The incident, including the individual's background, actions, potential motive, and the use of force, is under investigation by the FBI, the Secret Service, and the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. In accordance with the agency policy, the involved Secret Service.
It's interesting that they can never wound a person. Like, none of these people get wounded. They all get killed. I think there was only one guy, the older guy, he didn't get killed. Isn't that also another weird one? Charlie Kirk's shooter, obviously he escaped and turned himself in, so he couldn't get killed. But that was different. But I mean, the ones that took a stab at Trump, 2 of them were killed, 1 wasn't, right? The one that wasn't is an older guy. The 2 younger people, they were killed, and I'm just curious about that, but let's hear a little more.
Will be placed on routine administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation, as you just noted.
Dan,
It doesn't seem to be much there, so let's go on. Now, let me see what they say about this shooter. Yeah.
President Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. Authorities say the suspect was carrying a shotgun and a gas can when he drove into the secure perimeter on Sunday morning, prompting law enforcement officers to open fire when the man raised his gun. The FBI is identifying the suspect as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin of North Carolina. He was reported missing by his family on Saturday.
All right, let me see something here. Yeah, this is the young man right here. Okay, let's take a look at him. I mean, he seems like a nice young man.
Tucker Martin of North.
Tucker Austin Martin. They put out something missing already. I think this is pretty interesting too, though, the fact that he said he was missing. But yeah.
Carolina. He was reported missing by his family on Saturday. Authorities say the weapon was likely purchased by Martin as he made his way to Florida from his North Carolina.
Wait a second. That weapon, let me just take a look at that. This is the weapon right here. Okay, let me just blow that up. This is the weapon. Doesn't look too fucking dangerous to me, I gotta tell you. Yeah. Maybe I'm just not impressed because I'm used to seeing ICE walking around on the street with all kinds of shit now. This seems like nothing compared to what they have. Indeed, it is nothing. I mean, it'll put a hole in you, but it's pretty much, you ain't going to get too much action out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but this does not look that impressive, yeah. I wonder how many times he got shot, by the way. I'm just curious. Yeah, okay, well, yeah.
Authorities say the weapon was likely purchased by Martin as he made his way to Florida from his North Carolina home. Here's our ABC Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, the FBI and Secret Service urgently trying to determine what caused a young man to allegedly travel from North Carolina to President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida and confront law enforcement before being shot and killed. The suspect, identified by the FBI as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin, was shot shortly after 1 a.m. Sunday after he allegedly bought a canister of gasoline and brandished a shotgun in front of security personnel there to protect the property.
They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those two pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position.
At that point, authorities say an officer with the sheriff's department and two members of the Secret Service opened fire. Martin, who had been reported missing by his family on Saturday, was pronounced dead at the scene. Today, federal agents could be seen at a property associated with Martin and Cameron.
He's very, very young. He's very, very young.
North Carolina, which is about a 10-hour drive from Mar-a-Lago. A portrait of the alleged gunman emerging. A cousin telling our station WTVD that the family is generally made up of Trump supporters. But Martin's feelings about the president were unclear. Law enforcement officials believe that the suspect bought the weapon as he made his way toward Florida. Today, outside of Mar-a-Lago, a crime scene, as investigators try to trace the suspect's movements prior to the confrontation.
If you live in the area of the shooting, please check your exterior cameras for last night, early this morning. If you see anything, please contact us.
President Trump's security has been an ongoing issue. There were 2 assassination attempts against him while he was running for office in 2024. And law enforcement experts say the nation remains in an elevated threat environment with a recent spate of politically motivated attacks and a surge in threats against members of Congress. Just last week, police arrested a man they say was racing towards the Capitol with a shotgun, who allegedly claimed he wanted to talk to members of Congress.
President Trump was in no danger. He was here in Washington all weekend. But sources describe this as a serious incident coming just as law enforcement here in Washington are prepping security for the State of the Union. Lindsay?
Likely extra precautions on Tuesday. Pierre, thank you.
The Secret Service says a man in his early 20s carrying what appeared to be a shotgun and a fuel can entered a restricted area around Trump's Palm Beach, Florida home early this morning before he was shot and killed by authorities. I want to bring in CNN's Julia Benbrook. She's at the White House. So, Julia, how is the president's team responding to this?
Yeah, the most important thing to note here is that President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, they were here at the White House at the time of this incident, but they travel often to their Mar-a-Lago estate. In fact, the president has been there almost every weekend in recent weeks. During a press briefing that took place earlier today, the Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, standing with representatives from the FBI and Secret Service,
What's up, Netherlands? What's up?
detailed what they know now. He said that a man around 1:30 in the morning made it into the perimeter at Mar-a-Lago, and that a deputy and 2 Secret Service agents on the detail went to investigate. Take a listen.
They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene.
Authorities have said that this man was in his early 20s and from North Carolina. He was reported missing recently by a family member. Now, the sheriff did say that his deputies are always wearing body cameras, and so we could see some of that footage in the future there. But the FBI is the lead agency.
Oh, so they're gonna withhold the footage? Okay, no, I don't really know, but come on, man. Look. They every time they say the FBI, this is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm seeing right now. Look at this. This is insane. But every single time I hear the FBI, Lord knows. What do you think I'm thinking about when I hear the FBI? What do you think I'm thinking about? Look at this. This is fucking crazy. This is what I'm thinking about. Hold on. This is insane.
We cannot be.
Check this shit out. This is it right here. Look. This is what's going on at the same damn time. At the same time, this is what's happening.
This is our FBI director.
Look at this. Kash Patel.
We cannot be effing serious.
This is Kash Patel. He is just a kid. He's just a kid. He's a kid, man. I mean, he's trying to live out the life he never lived in college or some shit. I don't get it. Like, you know, me, I had fun in my 20s. I had a lot of fun as a teenager in my 20s, young 20s, you know, for up until my 30s. I mean, I had a whole lot of fun. Not to say the 30s wasn't fun too, but I had a whole lot of fun that time. This guy, every time they say the FBI, this is what I think of. Kash Patel's on his way to investigate the crime. This is some bullshit. You know, this is some bullshit right here. Kash Patel took his ass on the FBI plane to Milan. Trump didn't even have the nuts to show up because he knows they're going to boo him, right? And Kash Patel snuck in there. I think, is that what this is about? Hold on, let me see. Let me just make sure I get this shit right. Where was Kash Patel yesterday? Shit, is it yesterday? That was yesterday. Yeah, that's yesterday now. Where was Kash Patel? Let me see. Where is this? He has on a USA. So this was the U.S. team playing. Okay, this was in Milan. Okay, right. That's what this was. This is Patel was seen celebrating the U.S. men's hockey team after they defeated Canada to win Olympic gold medal. Okay, but listen, I'm with Canada all the way. You know, I don't give a fuck this time. Like, seriously, like, yeah, this is not even a celebration in my mind. And I'm an American, so I have the right to say this. You know, in my mind. Sorry, man. I don't give a fuck. You can win all the trophies you want right now. Nah, you will never get over the fact that your president was the best friend of fucking Epstein, espionage, a person that's taking down the country, running a fucking espionage, sex trafficking ring for 30 fucking years. Like, just say, miss me with this bullshit. Like, and I hate to say that. Look. Until you get rid of the problems you have, until you learn how to take care of young people, until you learn how to make sure everybody has access to education fairly and freely, until you learn how to, with all that money, make sure you have universal health care for the people that pay the taxes in the country, that go to work and have a job, at least bare minimum. And, you know, it would be nice if you had some charity for others. They might turn into the people that end up fighting all your wars if you have a brain. You know what I mean? I mean, until you learn how to take care, stop being so misogynistic about women when they want to vote or become president. Until you get to that point, like, all of this is not going to work anymore for people. It's just not going to work, man. It is way too little. You can win all the fucking, win all the shit you want. Just go ahead. It just doesn't move me. It just doesn't move me anymore. You know, I guess I'm at that point where I'm just not having it. But Kash Patel was there. He was drunk.
This is Sokosumi.
He was showing how you have fun. You know what I'm saying? As an adult, you know how you celebrate. Yeah, man. You just chug a few beers down. You know. But in terms of the other shit, like solving Epstein files, solving crimes with rape victims. People that were raped when they're little kids, coming down, even you see the rest of the world locking up people that were associated with Epstein from those files that were released. The FBI didn't even want to touch none of those people. People stepping down from jobs and people getting arrested. It's
more than 300 names on the list, which they acknowledge are people who are here listed in a wide variety of contexts. DOJ says they're doing as asked because it was part of the law. It lists everyone from Beyonce to Joe Biden, George W. Bush, Princess Diana, Michael Jackson, Barack Obama,
right.
Mike Pence.
And they're saying now they have 100 million Epstein files, not even 6 million. It's 100 million files in the Epstein files so in other words, they only released 2% of the Epstein files. Yeah, that's what's going on.
Trump's.
That 2% got people arrested and locked up or charged with crimes
Mark Zuckerberg
in other countries outside of the U.S. and people fired outside of the U.S. In the U.S., it got nothing.
Zuckerberg, among others, because they came up in one way or another in the documents. A few questions. Why was this asked for? And are you aware yet of any names being not on this list that should be on the list?
Well, we're reviewing that list, of course, but let's be really clear. This is a massive cover-up being led by the White House and the DOJ. The fact that 50%, half of the Epstein files, have not been released to the public and to the Congress. And of those that have been released, the actual files that have been out in the public or that we've seen, they're overly redacted. Many of the survivors and victims, their names are actually appearing, so there's no protection for the survivors. Yet the names of billionaires, the names of folks that could be co-conspirators, that helped fund Jeffrey Epstein, that could have actually been involved in the terror and rape, as we know, abuse of women and children, some of those names continue to be redacted and protected. Why won't the DOJ actually follow the law, not just of what was passed by Congress, but the subpoena that was put in place by the Oversight Committee during the summer? And so this continues to be a cover-up, and the American public understand that they continue to hide and protect and deflect. Why does Donald Trump, the president, continue to, in our opinion, to protect these powerful men? We're not going to stop till we get justice for the survivors.
Justice Department says they've released everything they can, and the rest are protected by attorney privilege, contain victim information, or contain child sexual assault material. I know there's been a back and forth in recent days about a handful of names that were redacted, should have been unredacted. Turns out they didn't have anything to do with it. They just happened to be in an event or in a photo with Jeffrey Epstein, basically. But I want to ask you about your investigation, a congressional investigation. You told the Attorney General on Friday it would take more than 7 years for members to check the redactions on those 3 million pages, which sounds unrealistic, but is it your intent to review all of those documents to see what other information is there, what other names are either mentioned or missing?
Absolutely. Look, we have a great team on the committee that's reviewing right now every single document, going through all the files that are available to the public, looking at redactions, trying to understand and piecing together an investigation. And it's not just the documents. We're interviewing survivors. We're talking to key witnesses.
Right.
We're going to be holding hearings in the future as well. So all of that is part of this. But at the end of the day, they have not given us all the documents. So until we actually get the full set of files, this is not going to be a complete investigation. And the cover-up that's being led by the White House and Pam Bondi is continuing, and the American public see this, and so they need to release all of the files.
All right. Well, working with what you've got so far, what are you looking for specifically? Are there names? Are there events? Are there situations to clarify that they've been released or that they're out there? What is it you're looking for?
Look, there's a variety of things. I think number one is we want to ensure that all of the names of the men that either were co-conspirators, those that themselves terrorized and brutalized women and children, those people need to be exposed. That work has
It's a lot of people.
An additional piece
You know, it's a lot of people because what's being alleged also is that it's not just the people. You're not when you talk about brutalized, that's another crime. It's not just the people that had that were sexually assaulting these minors. It's also the security people that were helping to brutalize and keep them captive. You know, so it's a lot of people that they have simply failed to identify or release to the public, you know, and it's obviously you could see how do you have a trafficking scheme and none of your security is involved. You see what I'm saying? Have any of the security people been questioned? No, not yet. Have you heard one get released in the Epstein? Have you heard this DOJ or any DOJ question any security person yet? That's strange. That's strange.
Which is who was financing Jeffrey Epstein. So, for example, this upcoming week we'll be interviewing Les Wexner, who is likely have been the single largest benefactor and providing financial support to Jeffrey Epstein. Where did he get all of his money and for what? And where was that money going? That is another critical part of this investigation. We've subpoenaed also the bank records. So we're going through all of those, and that information is critical to our investigation. And then, of course, is who was involved in the trafficking of girls and women? It wasn't just Ghislaine Maxwell. Why were there so many women being attacked in places across the country, whether it was New York, but also Palm Beach? You look at Mar-a-Lago. Why was Mar-a-Lago a location where women continue to be trafficked from? So these are questions that we need to ask. We have questions for President Trump. And I think the broader issue here is why wasn't this investigated when these accusations and these stories actually were heard by the FBI years ago? Where was the investigation? Where was the DOJ? And this, by the way, is an issue not just in Republican administrations, but also ones led by Democrats. We have to get answers.
Exactly.
You mentioned Wexner, who you're interviewing this coming week. Have you heard back yet from the man formerly known as Prince Andrew?
The artist formerly known as Prince Andrew.
We have not, but we absolutely have sent letters. We want to actually talk to Prince Andrew, and it's not just...
Isn't that ironic? Prince is the musician that's formerly known as the artist formerly known as Prince, and this is the Prince formerly known as this is Andrew formerly known as the Prince. That's crazy.
Prince Andrew.
Right.
I mean, what's happening right now across, over in the UK,
and the pictures of him are just disgusting, man. He's got his body over some young minors, you know, and he's like his body is just he's on all fours over this little girl. And, you know, it's just a damning picture. By the way, there's other pictures. They got him, a picture of him. Do I need to open this up? Yeah. They have pictures of him with an infant. Look, let me pull that up. It is so sickening. It's so terrible.
It's pretty stunning. And it's actually a show of what happens when the government listens to the public. There are actually things happening to those that have been involved. That example that's happening over there in other parts of the world needs to happen in our country. And the fact that the White House continues to cover up for these files and for these men, I think is shameful. Release all the files today. And the last thing, they keep claiming that, oh, well, there is there's some attorney-client privilege, or there's interagency communication we can't put out to the public. That might be true in the Epstein Transparency Act, but it is not true in the subpoena that asked for the exact same documents that was passed last July and August. And so there is no reason why Congress shouldn't have all of the documents in front of us right now.
Let me ask you about a few more specific names. I've heard about the cover-up that you're alleging by the White House. Let's work through some of these names. Peter Mandelson, the former British ambassador to the U.S. You heard back from him yet?
We have not, but we absolutely want to talk to him. I mean,
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. He had said in an interview last year he hadn't seen Howard Lutnick in years. Turns out he went to see his island off the U.S. Virgin Islands with his family back in 2012, and he had business interests with him in 2014. Are you working with Republican Chairman Jim Comer to bring Howard Lutnick in for questioning?
we have asked Chairman Comer to bring in Howard Lutnick, and we have yet had no response. Not only did he visit the island, he had tons of communication with Jeffrey Epstein after it was already known that Jeffrey Epstein was essentially convicted for preying on children. So it is shameful that he's actually in our government. He should not be the Commerce Secretary. He should come talk to the Oversight Committee.
The Oversight Committee also voted last month to hold Bill and Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress for failing to show up for similar testimony. They're now scheduled to appear later this month for closed-door testimony. What's the point of having them come in?
Look, we've said from day one that we're willing to talk to anybody, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, whoever they are, how powerful they are. If you have information about Jeffrey Epstein, we want to talk to you. We've been saying that about President Clinton for a while. I'm glad that he's coming in. Look, the one thing I'll say is I think both President Clinton and Secretary Clinton have also added that they would like those hearings to be public.
Right.
That's something that we absolutely support. We have questions for President Clinton. We'll be asking those in New York.
Right. Clinton is coming in on Thursday. But look at these pictures, y'all. This is this guy. This is him. Right. And these are pictures. Look, he's playing with an infant. This is the New York Post. This guy is playing with an infant. And what do you think that ball has on it? When you look at that ball, tell me, what do you think is on that ball that he's playing with? Like straight up. Again, the guy is on his knees. Y'all seeing this? Like straight up. Straight up. You see this, right? You see this? This is Prince Andrew. He's on his knees playing with an infant. With an infant. What do you think that infant has on? What do you think that ball has on it that the infant is playing with? Like, what do you think? What do you think? You see what that is? Yeah, you see what that is? Tape on her. You see what that is, Dylan? Look, he's playing with an infant. This is the New York Post. He's playing with an infant. And the infant, see, there, you might say, this is, I could see people might say, this is a family member or this is a niece or a nephew or something, anything like that. If you could prove that, I'm not quite sure that is the case, right? But in any case, what is on the ball, what appears to be on that ball is a nipple, They're playing with a ball with a nipple on it. That's what it looks like, straight up. And I don't know what's going on with that, but that is just very, very strange. And I'm wondering where was this found? As a matter of fact, should I open this up right here? Let me see what it says, the whole article here. Look, bizarre photos show ex-Prince Andrew playing with a young boy using a boob ball. That's what it's called. It's called a boob ball. Right here. Let's just see what they say here. Yeah, this is bizarre. I hate to say it. How bizarre? How bizarre? But it is bizarre. And, this is the world we live in right now. By the way, the FBI, if they thought he had something to do with
disgraced ex-Prince Andrew was arrested Thursday on suspicion.
If they thought he had something to do with sex trafficking, they could arrest him in the U.S., I presume, if he was in the U.S., but the FBI didn't.
Of misconduct in public office for allegedly forwarding confidential trade documents to his pedophile pal Jeffrey Epstein. At least 6 unmarked police cars and around 8 plainclothed officers swooped on the King's brother's Sandringham estate in eastern England early Thursday, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's 66th birthday. If convicted on the misconduct charge, the former prince faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. One officer was seen carrying a police-issued laptop after arriving at Sandringham at around 8 a.m., with the cars leaving around 30 minutes later. Police also searched a separate property in Berkshire, the force said, without directly identifying the King's brother, citing strict UK laws. Andrew remains in custody, a Thames Valley Police spokesperson said. Andrew was reported to the Thames Valley Police earlier this month over alleged misconduct in public office following complaints that documents in the Epstein files allegedly showed he'd shared trade docs with the convicted sex offender. Trade envoys must keep details about their trips confidential, even when they are no longer in post under the Official Secrets Act. On February 19th, King Charles released a statement. I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair, and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I have said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As this process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter. Meanwhile, my family and I will continue in our duty and service to you all. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said Thursday that nobody is above the law when quizzed about Andrew voluntarily speaking with cops. I think that's a matter for the police, he told the BBC. They will conduct their own investigations, but one of the core principles in our system is that everybody is equal under the law and nobody is above the law. It's a very important principle of our country, and it has to apply in this case in the same way it would in any other case. Andrew's arrest also came after a slew of UK police forces said they were investigating evidence within the trove of Department of Justice released files. A total of 87 flights linked to Epstein arrived or departed from UK airports from the early 1990s to 2018. Andrew was initially investigated over long-running claims by Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre that she was made to have sex with him 3 times, starting when she was 17, on orders from Epstein and his madame Ghislaine Maxwell. Andrew was never charged and has vehemently denied any wrongdoing. However, he paid millions of pounds to Giuffre in a civil settlement while denying wrongdoing. He also lost his royal duties and titles over the scandal of his close friendship with Epstein and Maxwell. Andrew has been repeatedly urged to testify about his links to Epstein in front of a congressional committee.
Yeah, so that obviously didn't go too well for Prince Andrew. And, you know, look at this. This is a damn baby. But look at this. He's playing with a kid, a little baby, and this ball has a basically a breast on it. Look, a boob ball. That's what this is. Now, I'm not alleging that there's more. I know more because I obviously don't with this story because obviously I wasn't there, right? But, you know, in light of a lot of the things that have been said about in these, you know, that have come from people that have written and contacted the FBI and others that have said there were victims. This, unfortunately, there's allegations of children, maybe this young. I don't know how old this child is, but being involved in some of these this Epstein scandal. And it's so sad. It's a horrible thing to think about. But yeah, nonetheless, there's more. Hold on. I will get you more. There's more
in the weeks ahead, as you know, but there's a lot of people that we need to speak with. And the more that we can have these conversations in public, I think it's better for the American people. It's what they want to see. And they want to understand what was the truth about Epstein, who he knew, where he got his money from, and why has there been a constant focus on covering up his crimes by so many in government.
Congressman Robert Garcia, the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, thank you for spending part of Sunday with us. We appreciate it. And we'll be right back.
What? All right, here we go. 2 seconds. Let me pull this other article up. I mean, this is just these stories of Epstein, you know, and Ghislaine Maxwell. They're all horrible. They're all horrible. And the mere fact that most of them have not been investigated by the FBI is very, very troubling. Yeah, it's very troubling. But 2 seconds here. Let's pull up the rest of this, and then I want to find something else I want to show
by far
you.
too many NATO allies. Now they're making right now, but you have to give the administration and the president some latitude to point to the fact that a $2 trillion shortfall over 2 decades, what has that done to our readiness? What has that done to our innovation? What's that done to base and manufacturing capacity? You know, we could be scaling up latent capabilities that would have been serving that $2 trillion to better serve Ukraine and better modernize their own weapons. So let's make sure that people look at this with balance.
You know, the more I hear about this, it's just like this is foreign policy, and this is coming from, who is this? A Republican?
And understand that a part of the reason why we are where we are is because we had that deficit in the first 20 years of this century. Now, the NATO alliance is the most important alliance in the history of mankind. And the Article 1 branch, Congress, believes that, and they believe it in large numbers. So
they just seem so disconnected from the people, like, to be honest, like, just hearing this, I know this is an issue of the how much the NATO budget was, defense budget, and but in light of everything else that people hear, this situation with Epstein, it just sounds so ridiculous to even like if you don't care about the Epstein shit, you definitely don't care about NATO GDP, the budget, how much of the GDP each country was putting. If you don't care about the biggest espionage, the espionage case that is still currently active in the United States of America. I mean, they're still haven't investigated all the espionage here. They still don't know all the players involved, all the variables. They still don't know that, but somehow they care about the GDP from NATO countries. I mean, get the fuck out of here. Of course, that's bullshit. That is utter bullshit. American people care about two things: the cost of goods, right? Being able to stay in their home and, and feed themselves and clothe themselves and heat themselves, right? And the Epstein files. To me, that's what it seems like the American people are concerned about. The American people are concerned about the bare basics right now. And this dude is like the NATO GDP. Man, nobody in NATO gives a fuck about the United States anymore. Those days are over. Those days are totally over. They're done with. You can fuck them up easy, but you can't build those alliances easy. And that's the lesson people got to learn from Trump. But having said that, I mean, this shit is just, it is bizarre. Like the road, the avenue that they're taking with this, it's really bizarre. But let's see here. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's bizarre, but it just seems like they're not listening to the people. It seems like they're not in touch with the people. Like, seriously.
And I will have a piece over at Drop Site later today. Might be up by the time this show goes up. That shows that the Israeli government installed, alarms and security equipment, surveillance equipment, at Jeffrey Epstein's East 66th Street apartment. That's stretching for years. According to emails that have been released by the Department of Justice in 2016 and 2017 at least, and it looks like for periods that go beyond that, because Ehud Barak was staying so frequently in the apartment. He's the former prime minister of Israel, and former prime ministers are entitled to certain levels of security.
Just keep in mind, this is just inklings of information. They're not trying to even dare let you know what is in the Epstein files. They're just, bird feeding people, like keeping people just, here's a little, okay, you want some more? Let me just give you a tiny bit more. Oh, you frustrated again another day? They're just like giving you 0. whatever % each day just to slow it down, just to, get away with whatever else they're getting away with. Obviously they don't want to show you what's in the Epstein files. They don't want the American people to know what has been going on. That's obvious what it is. But when you see information like this, that whatever they're not showing you is even worse.
Ehud Barak was staying.
This is just one little tiny story in a mountain full of events.
Frequently in the apartment. He's the former prime minister of Israel, and former prime ministers are entitled to certain levels of security throughout the rest of their career. Barak would be especially entitled to it because of his time as Minister of Defense and also as a top intelligence official. He was staying for long stretches of time at Jeffrey Epstein's apartment, which was technically owned by Mark Epstein, but effectively controlled by Jeffrey Epstein. Mark Epstein, his brother. Facts,
Israeli Dylan.
Consulate.
That's exactly right, Dylan. People are like sheep right now, man. It's terrible to watch. it to me, it's only a sign that something terrible. There's something terribly wrong, because no other nation will react to this information the way the United States is reacting to it. Like they know, it seems almost like they're a part of the crime. You know, the people in government right now, it almost seems like they're a part of the crime, because they don't want to help you solve the crime, basically.
The UN permanent mission for Israel in New York became responsible for security at this Epstein apartment. They installed different surveillance and security devices in that apartment. We put up, I don't know if we have either of these two elements available, but they go back and forth, and it turns out that basically anybody who wanted to go into the apartment had to have a background check and had to be cleared by the Israeli government. And there was the handler for the apartment even turned over, according to the emails. So like they're going back and forth with, they're saying, hey, we're going to have some new folks coming in, and a different Israeli government official responds, say, I'm taking over for Rafi. I'm now handling this apartment security. That's the gist of of what we can glean, just from these documents. Of course, 2016, 2017, this is like long after his conviction. And the first thing it does is blow away the claims by Ehud Barak that they barely ever met. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay. But I think we have pretty convincingly blown away that one already.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But it also means that the Israeli government, knew how close Epstein and Barak was. This is also...
You see, I hope y'all following this.
The same apartment where...
it just shows you the constant cover-up, and people willing to cover up. Because, look, if you're not part of a crime, then why would you give the answer that Barak gave, that they barely knew each other? Why would you give that answer if you're not covering up a crime? If you have nothing to hide, why would you give that answer?
But I think we have pretty convincingly blown away that one already.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But it also means that the Israeli...
Facts, Randy, facts.
Israeli government, knew how close Epstein and Barak was. This is also the same apartment where Yoni Koren, who was another Israeli spy and a protege of Barak, stayed. He stayed at that apartment as well.
And where is this part? What is this apartment?
So it's East 66th.
This is the...
This is not the townhouse.
This is the...
It's maybe a 20-minute walk from this apartment to the kind of Central Park famous townhouse. It's an apartment where he would have people stay who were coming into town.
I was going to say, I've seen this in the emails, and sometimes it's women.
Yes, a lot of times it's women.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they would have to clear.
Yeah.
He would have to clear those women if it was during these stretches of time.
Okay, yeah, so they know who the women are. They know their backgrounds, everything.
He often appears to be giving it as a favor.
With the consulate, it is a favor. Like people, and he did his Paris apartment this way too.
Yeah.
They know everybody who entered the apartment. Everybody have to be cleared.
I'm gonna be in Paris. Can I stay at your place?
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be in New York. Can I stay at your place?
And sometimes you see him talking to girls where he says, at least do me the courtesy while you're staying in my apartment to, keep me apprised.
Right, because she didn't get back to him fast enough.
Yeah,
exactly. She was out of town.
Yeah. So I assume that's the East 66.
Yes.
East 66 apartment. Okay.
Well, so that's very interesting.
Mark's company owned like most of the building.
Okay.
Seems like.
Okay.
The development company. And yeah, so you can read the story from some of the details on it. But yeah, so that's a pretty tight link right there.
This is one of the
Israeli government was doing the security for Epstein's apartment.
This is one of the most significant stories to come out of the entire DOJ archive, I think, Ryan. This one from you and Maz is huge.
And people will say, well, yeah, it's because Barak was a former prime minister and, they all get security. It's like, okay, but follow that train of thought a little further.
Right.
So clearly, what this shows, to paraphrase Bassem Youssef, is that he was a KGB agent. Yeah, he was working on behalf of the Russians.
Yes, of course. But I mean, this is the type of thing that's like it's obvious. You know, if Ehud Barak is staying, it's one of those things where it's like you can connect the dots A and B and say it's happening. But here, what you guys did was prove, right? Like it's logical. It's the logical follow on. But you guys found the actual proof that it was happening. Everyone would know if Ehud Barak is staying at a place, it's likely that this is happening. But it's not just likely. You know, sir,
there you go.
That it really happened.
I know.
Yeah.
Maz and I had another interesting story on Tuesday that if people missed, I think and if you care about this kind of stuff, it's really interesting because it's another window into what Epstein was really doing with Barak and with the connections that he was building between Dubai Ports World, which is Sultan Sulayem, who quit recently under pressure, although everybody thinks he's put out in some type of garden leave and that he's still probably in the mix, but
I'm sure
facing real pressure and put up.
By the way, just before you go, I found an email from him last night. Epstein was asking him about another businessman. He said, "Well, this man is not like me. He's faithful to his wife." That's what the Sultan said to Epstein.
Sultan.
Yep.
Sultan, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, Sultan. Oh boy. So you put up. This is A4. The headline: Epstein flipped Israel's Gaza-tested biometric scanners into Nigeria ports deal for UAE. The kind of headlines that we've been.
So you see, this illustrates the kind of stuff that they in electronic devices. And, and selling these devices, making them identity. They have this facial recognition identity shit they're selling. But other things, they selling stuff for people to commit espionage also, to be able to hack your phones, hacking devices, hacking computers. I mean, there's a lot going on here.
Putting on drop site stories lately are kind of mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
You read the story and there is zero sensationalism. It's just a straightforward, literally what he did here. So Boko Haram is going on its rampage in 2013, and so Barak, and actually through his wife, he often used his wife to kind of make the first entree to other officials. They reach out, condolences to for this Boko Haram massacre. We are there for you. And the way that they are there for you then becomes evident over the following years. They offer, why don't we come in and, for this Christian private school, build a power plant, move this entire community forward. Wonderful. That's terrific. You're going to build a power plant, for this, to power this school, which will then benefit the entire community. That's tremendous. That's what you want the patrician elites, the good Davos crowd to be doing, lifting people up from poverty. Somehow along the way, instead of building a power plant, they accidentally install facial recognition.
Oh no!
Technology.
What a mistake.
Oh, did we say power plant?
Yeah.
We're going to. So we have this product that we have tested in Gaza, that they used at the Rafah border crossing.
Which Ehud Barak was involved with.
You see this?
Ehud Barak, yes.
So this is the kind of stuff Epstein was down with. So look, the reality of it is that this American people, you don't know what the hell they were doing in the United States of America. You literally have no idea, because apparently they've been given carte blanche to do these things. Remember, we own the police, we own the FBI, we own the DEA, or the DA. I'm sorry. That means today we own the FBI, right? We own the state apparatus. Look, the security forces, right? We own that. Now, just think about that. And they're sitting back holding these files, not releasing these files, like the things that are in it are not the American people's right to know, and I'm sorry, but I don't see this going anywhere. I see trouble coming. I see trouble coming. And because it doesn't take someone long to figure out that something bad is really actually happening. What's up, JG? Yeah, look at this. It said, JG says, you're so gay and proud. You're one of the greatest LGBTQT streamers. Hey, well, thank you very much, but I'm not gay. So, but if I was, I would be proud, like you said, but I happen not to be, you know, you know what I'm saying? But thanks anyway. I appreciate that. Now send me a Cash App. But in any case, and by the way, JG 2730, are you LGBT? Are you? I'm curious about that now. You got me wondering if you are, because I see all the gay flags and the LGBTQ pride flags. Are you? This is a safe space for you if you are, but I'm not though. But in any case, yeah, in any case, yeah, you know, a lot of the trolls tend to do that because they think about your sex. They want to know. They want to know. That's something trolls are on these days. You know, when their country, when you're talking about things like this, Epstein and raping little kids and killing little kids, this is what comes out of the brain. You see what I mean? So be careful when you're around JG, you see? But in any case, this kind of stuff, this is what they're talking about. I mean, you don't know if they're doing this in Nigeria. You could already imagine what they're doing using the U.S. for as a testing ground, because they already running a sex trafficking operation that went undetected with impunity. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. So what's your argument going to be for not wanting to see the Epstein files? You know, what else do you want to know what else they were doing? You know, is this just about sexual assault towards minors? Is that what this is about? Is it just about sex trafficking? Or is it about something more than that? Is it about espionage? Is it about blackmail? Or is it also about more than that? Like, you know, so it's up to you to how you define it and the relevance you put on it. But to me, I don't see, I see if they don't get out of power, they don't leave power. And I see there being a problem in the United States of America, like a real problem, because it appears that there's more danger that is being concealed in those Epstein files than what they originally led on to, you know?
As bringing this in, because Epstein and Barak were deeply entrenched in the Israeli cybersecurity and cyber weapons industry. So they tested this facial recognition technology early in Gaza. They come and they say, look, why don't you just install this facial recognition technology here in this school? And at the time, there's this big scandal going on in Nigeria because the government had been exposed for using a lot of Israeli surveillance equipment, and you can witness Epstein and Barak kind of massaging and managing the PR and the fallout, and despite the public outcry in Nigeria around this, managing to muscle it through, and then ultimately building enough connections that Epstein is then able to bring Sultan and DP World into the mix. Nigeria, one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Its people do not share in that wealth. Right. It's people like Epstein and Sultan Sulayam who extract the wealth, funnel a lot of it to the UAE, where it's laundered through their makeshift mafia-like kind of banking system, and then
yep.
Not sharing that wealth. Right. Of connections that Epstein is then able to bring Sultan and DP World into the mix. Nigeria, one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Its people do not share in that wealth. Right. It's people like Epstein and Sultan Sulayam who extract the wealth, funnel a lot of it to the UAE, where it's laundered through their makeshift mafia-like kind of banking system, and then it emerges in as like penthouses in Miami and New York and Paris, where it's where it continues to be laundered, then drives up property, drives up the price of housing for people all over the world, because it has to find somewhere to park that is quasi legitimate. So if you're asking how that affects you, it's
I think a lot of Americans may not be drawing the connections fast enough. Essentially, may not really see the danger that is there, that is present. And that's up to everybody's own reasoning skills, that they have as individuals. But for me, some of the things, not just what he's saying, but the accumulation of facts, right, are pointing to something even uglier, I think, than what people have been shown already or heard, allowed to hear already. I think there's more to come, and I don't think the American people are going to like it. I think it's a lot worse than what people think. I mean, basically shitting on the United States from the inside, and using the people a lot more than what they think. Like right now, you think it's just been people being used for sex trafficking and things like that, for blackmail, and that's bad enough, right? And espionage, that's bad enough. Some people understand there's been some killing too. In some people's understanding, that's what they've been saying. Some children have been killed. Some bodies have been killed in several places for over a prolonged period of time. There's people saying that. And then you have another aspect to it, as in terms of foreign governments operating inside the U.S., testing out equipment on American people, like testing the equipment out, doing it in other countries too. But you have to ask why. Okay, did you do that in the U.S.? Because if you were given carte blanche to run a sex trafficking ring for damn near 40 years in the U.S., then what else were you given carte blanche to do, right? What else could someone do with that carte blanche, right? And then you hear that they already doing this stuff in other countries, and then washing the money in the AU, right? In the Arab Emirates or somewhere in the Middle East, right? Through banks, right? Epstein and them just washing billions and billions and billions and billions, and then taking that money and investing it in housing in places like New York, driving up and in DC, probably in other states, driving up the cost of living for the average American. I mean, seriously, people, not too many people going to break it down to you so much, but
laundered, then drives up property, like kind of banking system.
Mm-hmm.
And then it extract the wealth, funnel a lot of it to the UAE, where it's laundered through their makeshift mafia-like kind of banking system,
Mm-hmm.
and then it emerges in as like penthouses in Miami and New York and Paris, where it continues to be laundered, then drives up.
Yeah, and this is like the triangular trade.
But property, drives up the price of housing for people all over the world, because it has to find somewhere to park that is quasi legitimate. So if you're asking how that affects you, it's
right. Otherwise, you can't use the money.
Makes it so you can't afford a house.
There you have it. I really I just wonder sometimes when I think about this, I'm not feeling too good about it, and I really think it's going to get worse in the U.S. and I think there's going to be acts. People are going to be like you see this young guy today, or in the last 24 hours commit this act. I don't think it's going to just be young people anymore, like these young folks, because, I believe what is being revealed is getting to the point where a person with any inductive reasoning skills can easily understand that what must be in these files is far, far worse than what people initially expected. And the fact that they're not releasing them, it puts the American people kind of in danger, because the American people, they know they're in danger, but they don't know from who or from what. And as long as those files are hidden, they won't know. They won't know. They won't know what happened in their country for real. And yeah, I just think people are getting to the point where that's it. They're not going to have it. It's going to come to, there's going to be a problem soon. So yeah, that's my feeling. I don't want to scare people, but that's my feeling. Because just day by day, more facts come out, and it doesn't make the picture, it doesn't make things look easier. It only makes things look worse. Yeah. But in any case, I have to be out for now. Let me see. Let me read the chat. I'm sorry. Delta Force is running a whole cartel out of Fort Bragg. It's a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if any kind of lawlessness was going on in the military right now, because Trump is incorrigible. Trump, look, this administration encourages, military crime, essentially. They encourage this kind of lawlessness, and so I wouldn't be surprised if the military is doing something like that, and not that it hasn't happened before, but I'm saying Trump is incorrigible. You know what I mean? That adds an extra element to the likeliness, But yeah, it's terrible, man. Let me see here. Who else? Somebody said that's Mark said that's why they're not releasing the other 3 million. There's 100 million files, man. There's 100 million Epstein files they just released. It's not 6 million anymore. It's 100 million. It's 100 million. No, it's 100 million, man. In any case, I keep hearing people saying 100 million now. Midas Touch has been using those numbers the last couple of days now, and apparently it's not 6 million anymore. Wasn't 3 million either, but yeah, Dylan, it looks like it's people. It looks like things have been a lot worse than what you think, and I can only imagine. But I really hope that the American people again contact your congressional members, contact your senators, and ask them why they have not impeached this man yet, and ask them, do we all have to die before you impeach Trump? That should be just the only thing you write to your congressional members and senators. Do we all have to die before you impeach Trump? Question mark. Just, that's it. That way you don't waste your whole day trying to, dear Mr. blah, 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 I'm really concerned. No. Fuck all that. Just keep it short and concise. Get on with the rest of the life that you have left before they take that away from you. And I know I'm laughing, but I'm just saying, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Don't waste it. Sometimes it's not always wise to write a long letter. Just a short one, because you don't have much left to ask anyway. Just very simple and straight to the point. Do how many people have to die before you impeach Trump? Do we all have to die first? Question mark. End of story. And just send that to your congressional member. Send that to your senator. Send that to your Supreme Court justice, and and let's see how that goes. Let's see how it goes. But let me see here. Lamarck says, I can't even imagine what's going on. I was on Intel in the Army, and I worked for NSA in the Pentagon, and the shit I saw real time on a daily basis was crazy. Okay, yeah, well. Too bad you don't work there now. That would be helpful to let us know what's going on now, because it's really looking fucked up now, man. It's crazy, man. On a normal day, it's probably already crazy. Let me see. Rafika says, in the rich Trump family, that's what Trump's got in his head. I mean, they seem to be doing better than ever. I mean, They seem to live off the American taxpayer. I mean, with all the bankruptcies and all the grifting, it seems like they basically are kings in their own right, entitled to live off American tax dollars. That is what a king would, technically is, right? A individual that lives off of the taxes and owns everything and controls everything, right? So this is what Americans wanted. This is what yeah, and maybe when they don't want it, they will do something about it. Let me see here. It's happening way before Trump. Well, if that's an excuse you're using to not address what's happening right now, because see, before people addressed what was happening before, but what you gonna do right now, Randy? You gonna not address what's happening right now? Because before, the other people addressed it. The people that were there before were addressing before. Right now, what you gonna do? Nobody cares about before. The only question is what you gonna do about it now. Nothing. Is that what the answer is? Nothing. I mean, you don't have to use a lot of time to say that. You could just say, I ain't gonna do nothing about it now. Leave it at that, and then I understand that's where you at with it. You see what I mean? But you don't have to take up a lot of space saying nothing. You know what I mean? Just say you ain't gonna do nothing about it now. You're not worried about it right now. That'll also work. Rafika said the representatives are in the files and getting money. It must be that, yeah. And from AIPAC, yeah, there's something up. Well, you definitely know, without any question, there's Israeli government, obviously, secret police or whatever, and Russian police and secret shit going on, and whatever it is, it's incredibly dangerous. But what you just heard about the Israeli state government and their activities, or the criminals that are attached with some of them, is very troubling. Is very troubling, and I think there's more. And American people you gotta take your country back. Let me see. Mark says, he said, if you vote for me, you'll never have to vote again. That's exactly what he said. Yeah. He also said if he was on Fifth Avenue and he shot somebody, his followers wouldn't care, Let me see. Randy says they are all guilty. No one has been. Okay. I hear you. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, for me, it's not detailed enough. All guilty? No. I need details, man. Is the president of the United States guilty? This one. Is Trump guilty? Let's get the names out there. That's what I'm more interested in, because I don't want to generalize, and I don't want to not be pointed and not be targeting. I want targeted. I want to be very, because I ain't guilty. So don't put me into all. I'm not guilty, and there's a lot of people that ain't guilty. Some of them are in the government too that ain't guilty. Let me see here. But I hear you. I hear your frustration. I'm just saying, man. Again, let's keep it. Let's get specific. I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of people don't like to point at Trump because Trump's the president now and they voted for Trump. You got to get over that, man. Trump is the president right now. You voted for him and he's a fuck up. So just say you hope Trump is brought to justice. That will also help. Okay. If you don't want Trump brought to justice, then why would you want anyone else? I don't get it. He looks like Anthony Michael Hall actor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's funny as hell, Eric. Let me see here. They're in it. If they're in the know, they are guilty. I mean, I don't know. It's not good enough, man. Come on, man. Come on. Let's say it's okay to say Trump is guilty. Bring his ass to jail now. It's okay to say impeach Trump, but I hear you. Now, if they're in the know, I don't know who that is, but I know if you also hide in the Epstein files, something's wrong with you. That's where I take it at. If you don't even have to be one of the people accused of child rape or any of that shit. You don't have to be one of the people accused in the Epstein files. Just one of the people covering it up is good enough for me. You're fucking guilty. If you're covering up the Epstein files, at this point, you're guilty, man. You're guilty. You're not even trying to help American citizens get past this shit. Like, you don't want American citizens knowing what has happened in the name of their own tax dollars. Very simple. You don't want the American people to know what's happening in their name in their own country while they pay taxes. That's bad enough. That's bad enough. You know, to be letting intelligence agencies run wild inside of the United States, trafficking kids to this degree over 40 years and then doing other crimes too. Sorry, that's a low bar. That's pathetic. You know, that's just pathetic, man. Yeah, the Congress. Oh, yeah, straight up, man. Straight up. The Congress is like, you know, and yeah, it's sad, man. It is totally sad. And, you know, I can see there's people that love pedophiles. They love the fact that Jeffrey Epstein had, intelligence agencies all up inside of the U.S. They love the fact that he probably killed little kids, you know, and is being accused of that. There's a lot of people that like that stuff, man. It's crazy, you know. And you can, and the only thing that they will be thinking about is, please, I love Trump so much. Just stop talking about Trump. Talk about anybody else. Talk about Kamala Harris. That's what they would say, but not Trump, not the guy who's accused of, you know, sleeping with little kids, you know, raping little kids, killing little kids. Don't talk about that guy, Trump. Talk about, talk about anything else, you know. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, as a matter of fact, somebody in the chat put Obama. Look at this. Yeah, I'm glad you put that because this illustrates the point right here. They said this about somebody in the administration who's a piece of shit, said this about Obama months and months and months ago, and that just disappeared. And guess who that was? Look.
News and an update to a story we have been talking about. The Department of Justice says they are considering prosecuting former President Barack Obama. Here it is.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
The president yesterday, you've inferred that the former president helped lead a coup. Based on what you now see, do you believe President Obama is guilty of treason?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I'm not an attorney. The expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long coup and a treasonous conspiracy against the American people.
Right. So, how long ago was that? So whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to it? Just disappeared. Nothing. You know, and see, that's the crazy thing about it. It's like they have to divert. When you talk about Trump was the best friend of Jeffrey Epstein, who's the most prolific sex trafficker, blackmailer, espionager in the United States history, who invited foreign intelligence agencies to run operations in the United States of America for 4 decades. That was Trump's best friend. Trump was likely involved in knowing in lots of it. He's been accused of it. When you start talking about that recently, since that's what's being revealed in the Epstein files, that's what's been revealed in the last year, they want to talk about Obama.
He is the director.
So they've been talking about Obama a long time. When you going to do something about Obama? When? When you going to do something besides talk about Obama? Anything there? Anything there? You know, anything to distract you from the Epstein files?
Of national intelligence, DNI. Centralized institutional authority for all intelligence agencies out of the United States of America. Significant amount of power. Put it at full mass. Do you remember this? This is what?
Yep, they made 3D, all kinds of 3D AI and shit. You know, like, we're going to lock Obama up. You see all of this, all this time they've been doing this. What happened? What happened? Where is it? And they doing this to stop their people from listening to the Epstein files, all the shit that's coming out daily in the Epstein files. They have this case. They've been having this case against Obama for how long now? How long did she start talking about espionage, or not espionage, treason and Obama, and he fabricated intelligence information? Whatever happened to that? It just disappeared, and they don't even care.
Trump decided to post on his Truth Social site. Of course, it's fake and phony like he is, but he's putting in the mindset of his followers and those that like this kind of stuff, what's coming next. It also
Carpe Diem, what's up?
Gives him credibility that he's the one behind it. You understand? He needs you to know that this is not really Tulsi Gabbard. This isn't really the Department of Justice. It's me. That's what he's saying to you. So he does this picture prior, he does this post. Then all of a sudden there's this press conference. But what happened prior to all of this? A reporter asked Trump, are you in the Epstein files? That happened just a few days ago. Trump did not say no. He said, they were made up by who? Obama.
Right. So how many of y'all think the Epstein files are made up by Obama? Put a 1 in the chat if you think the Epstein files are made up by Obama. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that's horse shit. I want to start off because I'm not a moron. So obviously, what the fuck? It's like, that's his excuse now. Trump's excuse is that Obama made up the Epstein files. He's created all the Epstein files. That's him and Tulsi Gabbard. They created all that intelligence themselves. And this is why they need to get Obama arrested, y'all. They don't want to forget the Epstein files. Forget what's being said in it. Forget the fact that there's people out there saying Trump raped me when I was a kid. Forget all that. Forget the fact that people are claiming that there's dead bodies, kids have been killed. Forget all that, man. Forget everything in there, because Obama, he's behind it all. He wrote everything. He sat there before he was the president. He started writing this shit up. What year was this? These guys have been operating in the 80s and shit. Obama, where was Obama in the damn 80s? How old was Obama in the 80s? Anyway, let me look this
They
shit
were made up by Comey. Is President Obama being prosecuted for the Epstein files? Because if those files were made up by President Obama, that would actually qualify as an issue. You got a whole human being who's dead over that, called Epstein. So if that's made up, as you say, Trump, why isn't that being investigated? I hope everybody sees this. I really hope.
Hey, look, Obama was 22 years old. He was 22 years old.
Hope MAGA.
Oh my God.
Has seen through Trump enough not to fall for this. And this is why it's so dangerous to go with somebody just because they're the rah-rah person for your particular point of advocacy, but violate all these other points of advocacy at the same time that you said you believed in. Now, Republicans gave up a whole lot of their policy platform. They said, well, we're not going to talk about the budget anymore. That's gone to hell. Trump did that. So we won't make it about money. But we're going to never talk about being moral and ethical again because, well, Trump did that. We're going to take that out now. And
Obama started making the Epstein files when he was 20 years old, y'all. When he was 20. Yeah, back. I think he wasn't even in college then. Was he in college?
Things they wanted, like the immigration stuff. All right, appealed to their bigoted natures. And so now you have an individual who did all of that in order to always have a crowd that would accept his red meat. He did not train individuals to love policies. He trained them to love red meat. And now he is in the middle of a crisis himself. It must be something serious in those files.
It is something serious in those files. What makes a man one day go out and say, that he tried to snitch on Jeffrey Epstein? He tried to turn him in. Trump also said that. What makes a person say that, and then all of a sudden they reverse all of that and say, no, it's all a conspiracy by Obama? You see what I mean? I mean, it just is. It's sad. It's pathetic. Let me see. Carpe diem. What did he say? Remember when Trump was harassing Obama for his birth certificate? Yeah, exactly. Well, then chickens are coming home to roost. Yeah, now the world is pressuring him for them Epstein files. It's facts, bro. It's facts. Absolutely. And it just shows you what kind of slime ball Trump is, because he doesn't care, about anyone. He doesn't care about trashing someone's name. He would trash anybody's name. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do it if they're deserving of it. But think about why it appears Trump is angry at Obama just because he's a decent person. It looks really like that. Like, nothing pisses Trump off more than the fact that this dude is not, how can I say this, the whitest guy on earth, but yet he has manners. That must piss Trump off more than anything else, to where he would just trash his name for no meaning. But then again, Trump, I'm not saying that it only has to be about his color. Trump basically doesn't like anybody that goes against him. Anything that appears that it's something he can't even hang with. Like, I think Trump doesn't like the fact that Obama's in another class. Like, he's a classy person, dignified person, and Trump could never be classy and dignified. That's really what it is. And so Trump is going to hate him no matter what. It may not even just be the color, but I think that bugs him a little bit more, that, damn, this is actually a guy who is a black dude who's showing more class, showing more, how can I say this, couth than, Trump, than is normally associated with Trump. Couth and class is not associated with Trump. Just extremism, like gaudy, gold everywhere. And that's about it. No class there. Trump doesn't exhibit a knowledge or a how can I say this, an appreciation for history, even in any type of way. Not in architecture, not in art, not in reading, not in just nothing. Not in his clothing style. Just nothing at all. Trump seems completely devoid of what people call culture. If you ask me, like, no culture. Trump has no culture at all, but in any case, it appears that that's what really pisses him off. And so when he goes after Obama, it's just like, come on, man, this is so lame. And so now it's just so insidious. We're supposed to believe that Obama, he's the one who created the Epstein files with Comey. This is what he's telling the world. This is what Pam Bondi is her boss, is the guy is saying that. That's the boss of Pam Bondi. It was made up by Obama. That's the boss of Kash Patel. Epstein files were made up by Obama.
Serious.
That's Tulsi Epstein files.
To where he is manipulating his Department of National Intelligence.
Information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior? We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this. The evidence.
It almost sounds like people laughing in the background.
Obama? Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
The president yesterday, you've inferred that the former president helped lead a coup. Based on what you now see, do you believe President Obama is guilty of treason?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I am not an attorney. The expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long coup and a treasonous conspiracy against the American people.
Bizarre.
Traditional keyword research is so outdated.
That shit is crazy. I don't. Yeah. And these are the people that's getting paid for getting their salaries from the American taxpayer. That's That's the best they got. It's sad.
She is the Director of National Intelligence, DNI, centralized institutional authority for all intelligence agencies out of the United States of America.
Yeah. Epstein files, man. Wow. This is, I'm almost considering her a Epstein file hire. You know what I mean? Like, she was hired because to fulfill whatever the deviant plan of Jeffrey Epstein is, and the perpetrators in the Epstein files, whatever deviant plan it is, I almost see it like she's hired to fulfill that, that plan 100% and make sure it gets executed, But in any case, y'all, I'll be back. I appreciate everybody for coming in. I mean, I'm waiting for the American people, man. Congress apparently is not impressed by Trump yet enough to impeach him. The Senate is not impressed enough with what they've seen so far to impeach Trump. They seem to have a lot more time left to, enjoy the fruits of Trump, enjoy the fruits of Epstein, whatever is not being released, if that's not bad enough. And, it's going to be really, really weird. It's going to be a strange ride here. I'm starting to think, my only advice is everybody make sure you register to vote. Take time to check that out in the state that you're in. Make sure that you are registered because, this election is probably going to be the most important election in 100 fucking years in the United States history. Like, seriously. And I have no doubt that if they're so scared to release those Epstein files and the things, judging from the things that I've been hearing, that they might try to stop the election in some kind of way. So the more people that come out, the better. The more people that come out, the better to vote. Like, don't take this voting opportunity. Don't take it for granted this time, because I don't think you're gonna like having Trump or these Epstein files kept secret from you in 2028. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if people are gonna make it that long, man. That's a lot of time to hang on while other people have the information. Look, other governments have the information in the Epstein files. They have likely hacked it already and are sitting on it or were a part of it. You see what I mean? So that just means the American people are the last to know. But in any case, I'm out. I appreciate y'all. I'll be back soon, and everybody have a good start to your week. All right. All right, one. Appreciate y'all.
And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't stare.
Trump.
And like an
Fuck Trump. Impeach Trump and the whole administration, man.
It's like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison.
They want war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they want to keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. Them diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they want to keep you low, so they manifest the war.
wrote this one because I love you, and I want you to love me too, girl.
I just want to love the way you love. I love the way I love.
I love you.
I just want to love the way you love. I love the way I love you.
You my TRL, I'm looking at you. The look in my eye, you can tell that I wanna know you, better yet show you that I treat you right, this I owe ya. The feelings I feel are not obscene. It's no secret I'll go in public and scream. I'll LOV you, my baby girl. The feeling's so true, we can make our own world. We were made for each other, I feel like you love. We had a child, we be father and mother. There ain't no other I'd rather spend my time with. This love can endure anything that splits. If it wasn't legit, you wouldn't hear it. I could never be confused by your spirit. We just take it still or roll it, cause we both know what we do. I'm in LOV with you.
I just want
to
love,
baby girl.
Love the way you love.
Love me.
Love the way I love.
I love you.
I just want
hey.
to love.
Oh,
love the way you love.
Love
me. Love the way I love you.
I love you, girl. Just relax, 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 just relax.
See a whack MC when he bustin', but I just back away real cool, no fussin'. I'd rather go kicking in the streets with the bums and use the knowledge to collect what? Some funds, open a non-profit and build a damn school. And this is the story of how a great king rules. There's many that claim to know the local demographic, but don't have the nerve to tell you the truth. It's tragic, but I do, so sit back and let me spit this shit to you. You feel better when I spit this shit to you. Despite the system trying to clamp down on the people will learn how to stand up to evil. Not evil that's across the globe, that's too far. But evil lies in their own backyard. And fighting, it's not an option, they can't win. The government, it's not supposed to represent sin. But then again they do, and that's a problem. So let's go down and figure out how to solve them. It's not fun being a rapper that can't speak, but we do, yes, and plus we make fat beats. Yo, we smoke weed, break up trees. So listen, bringing fat beats, that is our mission. You wanted to see us, homeboy, shut up and listen. Thelonious and Big Bennett, brother, check the vision. Mentalities of different realities. Into the Star Trek room when you hear the boom. I be the Walkman with the super bass. Automatic stop, yes, stereo cassette player. With the delayer, freaky lyrical sprayer. Extraterrestrial rhyme sayer. I be the poetical VIC/master of the ceremony. Tendamoni, won't you come step with me? I'm on a historical journey. Kinda like Sigourney. Implore me to represent the attorney that represents my niggas, go figure. Here's the card, they call me Uncle Vigor. Niggas love your blunts, down your liquors. I'll be the parallel to the fiction. You're fixated on this brother's nature. Relaxed behavior, I might save your change. Flip it, rearrange. The whole concept, yo, is good for all your brain. Insane, psychotic, neurotic, black onyx, and hooked on phonics. Yes, atomic, it bleeds like a bonnet. Cut with the Asiatic, they all up on it. Rhyme static with the robotic type of skill. You wonder, is this nigga Vic really for real? It's still, but only necessary in the berry. I'm milk like dairy, they quite contrary. That's scary, but I'm a dog in a blurry. I scurry to grab my bones and just bury. Lyrical flurry, go get your secretary with impeccable dictions. My style might vary. So get a hold of your own shit real fast. Fucking with us, we take it right out your ass. Every dog chill while the other dogs howl. Too many dogs get sent to the pound. Back on the hill, me and my peeps just lounge. Prairie dogs, we keep it on the down. Start out, don't like none blood splatter. We try to climb the ladder, wicked men get badder. They make it like splatter, but it really don't matter. Cause you know we coming back to our sons and our daughters. So Father, Him the one who protects ya, and the mother, she will never neglect ya. Through divine nature, the people respect ya, and in this way I deliver my lecture.
Take heed. 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 Take heed.
I traveled the globe just to gain perspective. The theory of relativity applied. Of course, it took a while to decide how I should proceed, but either my life is truly based upon need. So I move forward with more deliberate speed. Smash corny motherfuckers that stuck on greed. My seed is worth more than $1 million in future stock. The goal is to break the safe, the padlock. Mad cats can't stop it, need a rocket. Your style is boring and cold, mine is tropic. Battles you want, commit, you'll change the topic. My partner stood there to put your beat in the pocket. So this nigga here can proceed to destroy your stereotypical pop rap gangsta ploy. Not hating on niggas from the ghetto, but I'm hating on copycat rappers from the meadow. They procreate bullshit without paying a price. That's like talking about CeeLo with no dice. I drink milk, but that's about it. I won't compare dairy MCs to dope shit.
I want you full undivided in this here place. We think to entertain and to educate your bum ass niggas and your non-believers. You know we change your membrane every time you see us. The others can't stand the way we think away ease. The way we get love from the finest ladies. Oh my son, oh here comes another one. I'm about to take it to the place that lies under the sun.
Style witty, come from Chocolate City. Today I'm on the march with I invited 1 million from the Million Man March to stomp on fake gangster rappers so they don't need starch. For the funeral suits, we shine boots and make the radio station only play the roots. And make the television station play Alex Haley Roots and remind these motherfuckers of what? Their roots. Oops, you can't say that, bitch, it's a slap. The new world order's even under attack. You can't fight the power eating a Big Mac. Let me explain, the hamburger minerals lack style, originality, finesse, tactic, energy, maintain creatively. That's you mathematically, your presence is solved. Why? Because to tell you the truth, kid, you're lost. Now who's boss? I'll tell you, I know that brother rap clinic, of course.
Full undivided in this here place. We came to entertain and to educate your bum ass niggas and your non-believers. You know we change your membrane every time you see us. The others can't stand where we make away ease. The way we get love from the finest ladies. Oh my son, oh here comes another one. I'm about to take it to the place that lies under the sun. Take it to the place, then take it to the place, then take it to the place that lies under the sun. Take it to the place, then take it to the place, then take it to the place that lies under the sun. Sometimes I think about, does love still exist? Yeah, I have my doubts. On the street, I check out how brothers be living. Yo, let's just say, kid, it ain't no Thanksgiving. We got people shooting dope, ain't never heard of hope. We got others with the gat and the brothers with the fucking scope. As I enter the project center rec rooms, some brothers might see the doom. I see my nigga Paulo, fat pockets of papes. He knows the neighborhood biddies with all the dopest shapes. There goes Rollo with the blowout fro. He's got a gap, ayo niggas gots to go. No show is live with narrate, fuck Memorex. My nigga Rollo's got a gat at Paulo's chest. One slug blasted out, down boy died. Now show me some love, kid, it sounds like a
and
fucking
yes, you
lie.
know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Sometimes I think how the world come to this, a place where every man and woman needs a therapist. Mass confusion, people living in delusion, justify all the bullshit through the Constitution. Meanwhile, the masses struggle to survive. I think we're too busy to hear our people's cries. Singles mothers struggle to raise families. Genocide committed through famine and disease. I wonder if these things will ever cease to exist. I know it could if we cease and desist. Giving all the power to the industrialists, giving all our power to the damn commercialists. They see us just as being sheep in this world, that want us to do what we're told like boys and girls. Oh God, I wanna live another day so I can help provide equality
and
this
yes, you
day.
know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. Though we know it's been so long. Pain without a limit, so wrong.
Everybody round the globe, open up your earlobe, your third eye, and then decipher the code. Through knowledge, understanding, then bring love into the concept instead of bling bling. Truth instead of biased educational methods. Twisting, contorting God's message of love for every human being. Listen, motherfucker, don't you hear the screams? It's time to do much more than talk, debate, and spread hate. We need to think and at the same time investigate. Understand what our actions may create. Before continuing the cycle we procreate. We can clone humans, but at the same time we can't feed humans. The future of man is actually looming. It's really depressing, it's true,
and yes,
man.
you know the struggle goes on. People trying to survive, hold on. But we know it's been